Call the meeting to order for the Hanson Board of Health. Today, Tuesday, August 29th, 2023, 4 p.m. at the second floor, or is it third floor?
Second.
All right, second floor, hearing room. Hearing room A, right? Hearing room A?
I don't know.
I think it's called hearing room A.
I don't know.
I'm gonna take mine back because you heard yours here.
Yep. Present, Kevin Perkins,
That was
Irene
you.
Diaz. And meeting being recorded.
Yes.
First order of business, we have approved Board of Health minutes, August 8th, 2023 meeting.
Are they?
Eileen, you have a chance to read them?
I did, yeah.
It's right there if you want
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of the August 8th meeting.
to. I'll second that motion. All in favor? Aye. Okay.
Yeah.
Second item on the agenda is another quick one. Transfer Station Committee and potential appointment. We discussed that last time, and I think you were interested in.
Well, I got an email within the past week that said that I had been, somehow somebody thought that I had been chosen to be on that committee. I still don't know when they meet. I don't have a problem being on the committee as long as they meet when I can, a night that I can, I'm available.
They always set it up whenever
yeah.
Melissa was available. So
Okay,
Melissa
all right.
was
So if-
available
Yeah, I
the
don't have a
Fridays or
problem.
Wednesdays
And I'll
or
reach out,
whatever.
but I can tell you I've reached out to 2 people and I've not heard back from
Okay.
either of them.
And I also reached out and never heard back.
And
Alright.
I think it was Lynn that sent me something saying we heard that you were the person. I'm like, I haven't been able to talk to
They
anybody
had it
about
on their agenda.
It was
Did
on
they?
the Selectmen's agenda, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, if you're comfortable with it, we
I'm
can work the
comfortable.
logistics out with it. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'll make a motion to appoint Eileen Diaz as member of the Board of Health to the Transfer Station Committee.
And second?
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay, next item on the agenda is Sausage Homemade, 421 Franklin Street, grease trap maintenance requirements. So this was, forgive me if I get anything out of place here, but, so this was a property that's been around for a long time, existing business, that transfer of sale of the property triggered a Title V inspection and a replacement of a septic system, correct? Okay. So the septic system was replaced. It's been approved, signed off, inspected, correct, Gil?
Yes.
Everything's done. We have as-built. This is an as-built in front of me. Due to the nature of the business just being food related, it was required that they put in a grease trap. From my understanding, this property is essentially like an in-home business kind of thing, smaller scale, not a huge operation, somewhat seasonal, that kind of thing. The main primary use of the property is a residential dwelling, and the business is supplemental to that. So due to Title V regulations, what it says, do we have those in here?
Yep.
What I had
Yes. Nope.
somewhere, left side?
Long pieces of paper. Right in front of you.
With
Yep.
this?
Yep. And everything else was paper
I
clipped to
think what
it.
you're looking for is
Right there.
digging right
That's
here.
that whole packet goes together.
Okay.
421 Franklin, right?
Yes.
Okay, so. This is from 310 CMR Title V requirements, 15.230. Pre-treatment units, grease trap requirements. So basically what this sums up to is if you go to, where is it? Grease trap maintenance, where is that? Okay, grease trap shall be maintained in accordance with section 15.351. So if you go to 351, system pumping and routine maintenance. And then the discussion, so number 2. If you go to 15.351, number 2. You there?
Grease traps, yep.
Okay. So grease traps shall be inspected monthly by the owner, operator, and shall be cleaned by a licensed septic hauler whenever the level of grease is 25% of the effective depth of the trap, or at least every 3 months, whichever is sooner. And the owner-operator shall keep all inspection and pumping records. So the concern here is by the business owner is that what Title V says and what we're bound to is that basically every 3 months she has to pay to pump this, whether it's being used to its full capacity, capability, whatever. That it's an excessive expense to the business owner. Am I getting this right so far?
That's part, yes, that
Excuse me.
is the general premise.
Okay. So
I mean, I have a picture of what's in there right
Yep.
now, and I could take it out with a pool skimmer.
okay. So let me just try to keep getting through this.
Yeah,
and
get through that.
I'll try to get through the
Okay.
regulations. So that's basically it. That a grease trap needs to be pumped every 3 months.
But that's in a
Records.
fully function restaurant.
Shaw's. That's exactly where I'm going with it and how I feel about it. So,
Where you have that kind of accumulation.
right. McDonald's, Shaw's, a
Yep.
full-blown.
Meadowbrook.
Not that it's not a full business, but to me, it seems more of
The level of use is much
a smaller scale. Yes. So basically, that's what we're bound to as far as what Title V says. Now, the board does have, from what I read, it says we do have the discretion to grant variances from any provision in Title V, except for ones that are specifically listed that you cannot.
Okay, and it doesn't say that here.
Right. So variances standard for review. It says local approving authorities and departments may vary the application of any provision of 310 CMR 15 with respect to particular cases except those listed in 310 CMR 15-415. And there's a couple other sections which don't apply. One talks about schools, one talks
Yep.
about so 15.415, which we're not allowed to. It says provisions for which no variance may be granted. And from what I read, there's nothing that would apply to this property. If the property owner, or I'm sorry, business owner, were to apply for a variance and request that, I don't see that the board couldn't grant it. Not saying that we have to or we can. I'm just saying that it doesn't seem that we don't have the ability to here. It doesn't say anything here about that. So I just thought these sections out of Title V are relevant that, for us to look over, just discussion about it. But I think that's kind of the short and sweet of it. That the other question too was with the riser covers on the tank being brought to grade and did.
Yeah, we've got that all taken care of.
Okay, see.
Yeah, because
okay.
one of the things up front is that it has to be easily accessible for
Yep.
inspection.
Yep. So all that's been resolved. I actually,
Yes.
I had spoke with the business owner and I had also spoke with the installer. And it sounds like they mitigated that. So,
Okay.
so the concern really is just the excessive maintenance
Unnecessary pumping.
and cost there for the business. So, if I think I covered pretty much everything. Ma'am, if you wanted to.
I just, if we could self-monitor, I mean, can I show you the picture of what's in there? There's nothing. There's water, but
That's what I was thinking. What would we set up as required?
Well, I don't think we can do anything without an application for a variance.
Okay.
I think that
That's
procedurally,
okay.
I think that's
Right.
what would need to happen. But I think this is good just for kind of
Just to
discussion
try- so we know
to see how
where we're
how
headed.
we can approach this.
I mean, I could take it out with a pool skimmer,
Yep.
literally.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing. I mean, there is no more going down. I'm just saying. There's no.
But I mean, every 3 months for that would be excessive.
It would be definitely excessive, and you know what? The company would be within, the pumping company would be actually within their rights to charge me more to pump out 5 gallons of grease. Because apparently, from what they told me, it changes the pH of their tank, and that's why it costs so much to do it every 3 months or 4 times a year. I have no idea about that end of it.
I hate to cut you off, but
Yeah. Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry.
could you just state your name and address and everything for the
My
record?
name
I don't
is
know if you-
Glenna
I don't know if you
Tassinari.
did.
I haven't,
she didn't.
no.
Okay,
No.
thank you.
No,
Sorry.
I'm
not.
Glenna Tassinari,
Address?
We're at my personal address, 128 Pleasant Street, Hanson, but the
Okay,
address
the
that
business
we're
is
talking
what-
about is
is the
421 Franklin Street, Hanson.
Okay.
Great, okay, thank you.
So, you're welcome. But yeah, it's just, they can charge you more. I had to kind of talk to them a little bit yesterday, that for the small amount of grease that's in there. Now, if there was a foot of grease in there, then yeah, it's an 1,100, I mean, it's 1,000-gallon
Yeah.
tank. And it's brand new. We've only been in operation with this system since the end of June. Which obviously kind of negates what I just said about how little is in there.
Because it's been a short period of time.
But there is seriously, because I'm very conscientious of it, there is no more grease that goes down that drain than goes down my kitchen drain. Or yours, or anyone here, unless you're in the habit of pouring your bacon grease down the drain. But I'm
eat
just,
out.
huh?
I said we eat out. Let
Well,
somebody
there's
else
that.
know.
So, but I'm just saying, I don't cook there. I make pasta. It's water. We cook potatoes. I make a pot of chili. And when that pot of chili is put up into serving containers, the rest is scraped into the trash before it goes to the sink. Because, for exactly that reason.
Where's all the other stuff that you sell come from?
Where does it come from?
Yeah, if you're not making it.
I
on
make
premise.
sausages.
She's not cooking.
I don't
So she's not
do
creating
any
grease.
cooking.
Okay.
I don't do any cooking there. Just what I said: pasta salad, potato salad, chili. The occasional pot of spaghetti sauce, but it's the same thing. Anything like that, the spaghetti sauce, the chili. If I decided to make a soup, anything that's left in the pot, like food, gets scraped into the trash.
Mm.
So I'm not washing anything more than we're washing, any of us at home. You make a pot of spaghetti sauce, you scrape the stuff into the trash, and then you wash the pot. And like I said, for the little bit that's in there, and again, like I said, probably it being such a short period of time that we've been online with it, wasn't probably a very good example. But, I am very willing and able to self-monitor. I don't want that thing screwing up and have to pay big money for that. And what was the parameters for it? If the tank has X amount of its
25%
25%
for every 3 months.
or every 3 months, whichever came sooner.
yeah.
Are you still making sausage there?
Yeah,
But she's not cooking it.
I don't cook it.
But you're preparing it.
Yes, I take raw meat, I put it into
Grind it up.
seasoning. We grind it, we season it, we put it into the casing, and then I put it out into the shop to sell. Did you see the picture of what's in there? I'm open 3.5 days a week. And I want to say in those 3.5 days, I am maybe in production 10 hours. The rest of the time is spent selling.
So I think procedurally, I think if you wanted an opportunity to just deviate from what Title V says, I think properly you'd have to apply for a variance, which
whom?
to the Board of Health. You'd have to, formally apply for a variance just the same way anyone would for, a setback on a septic, anything like that. So it would just be, I'm requesting, relief from this provision, and as far as, the specifics of it, we can help you with the specifics as to what you need to apply for.
Okay.
But I think procedurally you'd have to do that in order to give the board an opportunity to officially review it and make a decision on it if you requested that. I don't think it's something that we have the jurisdiction to do, to just waive it or do anything,
Without an application.
without an application.
Request.
So it's not, a big process, but it's a process that I think we'd have to follow if we were going to do it. The other part of that is obviously that if the board were to grant a variance on it or something, that it's still your responsibility, that you're looking to deviate from what Title V says about pumping that every 3 months. That if you were to not properly maintain this or monitor it yourself, and it's not properly maintained, and there's a failure or an issue, that it's not any responsibility of the board.
I
That it was
completely
your request
understand
be
that.
allowed. Okay. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page there
Trust
with
me,
that.
I try not to blame the government for anything that I've done wrong.
And at the end of the day, like you said, I mean, you hit the nail on the head that you just paid, or someone paid all this money to replace a system that you don't want to do that again. You don't want to have
No.
to spend that money again.
No,
So
I don't.
it's in, everyone's best interest that that's monitored correctly and it's pumped when it needs to be
I
pumped.
mean, I gotta tell you, my father opened the business in 1986, and that sink and a washing machine were running into a cesspool. And still, and my father was not, he was good about the kitchen sink. He wasn't real good about his sink down there. But, I mean, we didn't have to have that cesspool. It was just a standard cesspool. I don't even know if there's such
That
a...
might have been before the regulations, though.
Well, we were grandfathered in, but it's not even that. It's the fact of how many times we actually had to have it pumped. Not very often.
Well, there's a lot.
You know,
There's a lot.
every couple of years, maybe.
There's a lot of reasons that the old cesspools didn't actually fail, like hydraulically. There's a lot of reasons behind that, but a lot of stuff like that fails now because of how they determine the water table and stuff now.
Oh yeah, I
But,
get that.
but a lot of like I understand the mindset, and a lot of people have it like, oh, this cesspool lasted for all these years, and the real reason they lasted so long was because they were literally in the water table, and they got cleaned as the water table came up, and it would go back down. I'm not kidding you. Like that's really a little bit behind
So they had a
it.
self-cleaning
It's
What do you
in the
mean they're
water
in the
table.
water table?
well
in the
the
water.
water table on the ground, depending on the season, it will come up.
Okay, yeah. I
You know,
get
the
that.
depth, like
Yeah.
if you were to
Comes
dig a
up into
hole
your
in there,
septic,
Okay.
and then goes
or it
back
might
down.
come up partially into it and then go back
Okay,
down.
because of the nature of the build of the subject.
Because when they were
yeah.
put in, before Title V, they used to go out, dig a hole in the ground.
Okay.
If there was no water, they'd say there's no water. But now, after Title V, the system that we use is the modeling system, and so you dig a hole in the ground, and you see these different stain colors. And there's a stain in the soil, and that's the modeling
Water
layer,
table,
and
right.
that's real water table.
Yeah.
So the water comes up, and it goes back down.
Mhm.
So that's what they determine it. So now the water table's here. Back in 1980, they dug a hole and they said there's no water down here. So that system was put in here, and this is doing this during the season.
Okay.
When it changes, so it's
All right, that makes sense.
yeah,
And
that's kind of
contaminated in the water table.
pretty much yeah. And that's why a lot of like systems you see that are being repaired when they go get a Title V inspection done. If those systems were put in prior to Title V, that those systems need to have an observation hole dug
This
because
was put in prior to telephone.
Right. But that a lot of the systems, they're not like hydraulically failing, like backing up into the house, but they're in the water table, and that's why it's a
You don't want
failure
them out.
on an inspection a lot of times. Just to give you a little background.
Yeah.
Not that you need to know or you care, but
But now I'm afraid to drink the water.
so just back to this. So if you wish to, like we said, if you wish to put an application in for a variance request, I can give you the specifics of like what we have in front of us as to what you'd be asking for relief from.
I would like to put in a request, yes.
All right. So we can help you get started with that. But like I said, I don't think this is just kind of like a formal meeting on it. Informational, give you information on how you can proceed if you'd like to request the relief, and nothing we can really make a decision for on it right now. But once you put that application in, then the board will hold a public hearing on it, and we can make a decision on the variance. So
Okay.
hopefully that helps you go in the right direction.
I would hope so. I mean, because it just, I personally paid $6,000 out of my pocket to have that system put in. I do not look to having it fail on me because I'm an idiot,
Yep. No, I hear you.
and
As far as like, do you want to talk about potential like maintenance of it or anything like that? Do you want
The
to get into that?
maintenance,
or
I
you wanna wait?
do, I understand you're wanting to self-monitor, but I think that we should have something where, and we can agree upon a time, every 3 months is excessive, but maybe every year, every 2 years, we can come up with something.
every year,
So that-
every year works for me. And if that tap comes off and there's nothing in there, I've still got to pay the guy because he came out, but
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
I think that sounds like good conversation. Yeah.
Yeah,
to have
we could definitely
I think
come up
something
with
like
a-
that, a year,
Yeah, a
something.
year or whatever.
Again,
But I
like
think
I
we should
had
come up
said
with an
before when I
interim.
spoke with you on the phone, I'm open 3.5 days a week. it's all gray water going down that drain, and I'm not in production, and I'm closed in February until the middle of March, so.
I think the other thing that might be helpful too is maybe we can get the water usage records too, from the water department.
Nope,
No?
well water.
Oh, you're on a well? The whole thing? No water tap there, huh? Well, I guess we're not gonna get
We've
that
always
then.
been on well water.
Always, always. My father dug the well himself, for God's sake, while he was pouring the cement blocks for the foundation in 1953.
All right.
So there will not be, so there's no water bill.
When was the last time the well was tested?
It's tested,
Not even-
actually, it
I don't
was
even
quite
see it noted on the
recently.
plan.
Maybe not through the Board of Health, but it was tested quite recently because
not even on
we
the
had the
plan.
water softener system upgraded, and they tested it, and, you know.
So she's saying it's not on the plan.
It's not on either plan.
This is, I'm assuming separate from the house. This 1,000-gallon tank. With the grease trap, that's separate from the house,
Yeah.
from the house system.
Yeah, that's the
Yep.
grease trap there, and then the outlet of the grease trap goes into it.
How did that get by? It's not even on the plan.
What's that?
Is this a Title V failure or just transfer?
Transfer. The well is not noted on either plan. The proposed or the, as-built. I don't see it. Anybody else see it?
I gotta get my magnifying.
So,
I was trying to
what are
dig
you
for
saying?
It's supposed to be on the plan.
Because, yeah,
Because I'll tell you what, they measured that thing and measured that thing. The, leaching field is halfway to East Bridgewater.
Roughly where is the well location on the,
Roughly.
if you're looking at the house from the street?
Looking up, it's behind the house,
Yep.
and probably 30 feet from the house.
Behind it.
is that, was it out by the old cesspool?
Nope. Wasn't. Where's the house?
The house is here, and it's Franklin Street, so this is the house.
Let me get this.
No, I'm
Okay, so
understanding.
this is, let me see then.
Yeah,
So this is the house?
back here
Yeah.
someplace?
See the back deck?
Right there is the well.
Right by the back deck? That's on the back
Underneath.
deck.
That's under the back deck. The deck is, yeah.
So how far is that from the?
From the leaching field, I'm telling you, Joe Webby did it.
Yeah.
He's not gonna screw around with that kind of stuff. The leaching field is out here.
Yeah. Oh, it is on here.
Where is it?
I do see it. It says
Where?
existing well. It's under the deck.
Right,
It's very
exactly,
small.
exactly where I put the.
Why do you
around
think I
it.
got this?
I couldn't see it.
Exactly where, here, I'll show you.
Well,
Why do you think
once
I
you
got
said
it?
it, I'm looking
Right
at 100
there?
feet. It's 100 feet.
Yep.
Yes.
That's it right there?
Existing,
Yes.
Yep.
Existing well is it?
does it say right here?
Okay.
Is it there?
Because
No,
it's such a
existing
small plan.
something.
Existing well, right there.
It's exactly where I put
She
the
literally
circle around
circled it.
our leaf.
Oh.
Yeah. I said it's
She
just
did.
about
It's
here.
Okay.
right
All
there.
right.
All right, there's something there, but you can't read what it
Yeah.
says.
It says existing well.
Yeah,
It's
says
EW.
EX
pass
well.
those down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you
And that's,
need this?
and that's why they're showing a 100-foot
No.
setback from the leaching area to it.
Yep.
If you look, there's a 100-foot setback there. That makes sense. All right.
So when was the last time you had a drinking well test? Water test?
I don't know the date. Like I said, the guy came in and he upgraded our water softener system, and she did some kind of a test on the water and whatever. If she didn't say, oh my God, don't drink this shit, excuse my language, but
So it must have passed the test.
Yeah.
How
what do you
long
want me
ago
to
was
do?
that?
Huh?
How long ago was that?
February.
We didn't get
Get
anything.
a copy of the test?
Nobody asked me for a copy of the test.
Just now realized.
We're having the water softener system upgraded.
Okay.
It was, no, nobody told me.
Yeah, if we can get a copy of the test, that'd be great.
But we didn't know she had a well either.
We didn't know he had a well, so I mean, if they know,
We would have known
you
to
know,
ask.
there's no public water. there's
So
no
we're not
public
going to
water.
be able to, like we said, it was just
Figure out the
it was
water.
just a suggestion. If we, if you were on town water, we could get a meter reading, just to see how much
Exactly.
water you're using. But obviously with a well, we're not going to be able to tell. But
How do we differentiate that between the house?
you wouldn't be able to. It
Me.
would just be the overall property, but the septic size for the overall property too. You know what I
The
mean?
2,500 gallon tank for the house, based on a 4-bedroom.
1,500.
1,500?
Yeah, that's
Okay,
minimum
so they
size that
added
you're
the,
allowed to put in.
That's, yeah.
So they added the 1,000 mine into, okay,
The 1,000, yeah, the 1,000
So
gallon
that brings
grease
it up
trap,
to
that's for the
25,
grease
right,
trap.
yeah.
okay.
But it's really not for the house.
The grease trap's
The grease
not,
trap,
but
right.
The grease trap is for one little sink.
Right. Okay, so yeah, I mean, like I said, if you want, we can help you get the necessary paperwork together, and if you
Please
wanna
do,
apply for
I
that.
would
Okay.
appreciate that.
All right, is there any other, questions or anything, Gil?
No, that's wrong.
Or- Okay.
So you have
Yeah.
grinding the meat and everything there?
Yes, come on, finish asking your question, tell me what you're looking for.
No, I mean, I've talked to the federal inspector, and he hasn't inspected you in years.
I am,
And he was in the area not that long ago, so.
I have never, I'll tell you how many years, 38. That's how many years it's been since there's been a federal inspector down there.
Really?
We are not, we use USDA meat, we're not raising a pig in the backyard.
But you're grinding,
I am grinding USDA meat.
yeah, okay.
Well, maybe that's something.
USDA raised, USDA
Yeah.
It was
slaughtered.
here.
It's all got the stamp on it.
Yeah,
And that
Okay.
was, you know when the last time, the USDA was there? That's who we're talking about, right, the
yeah,
USDA?
USDA.
They were there, I almost want to say that David Libby still had his hot dog stand.
Okay,
With,
all right.
And that was a while back, and I, and.
oh, I thought you spoke with.
And they wanted to know, they were there only because we were doing smoking, custom smoking, because we used to do custom, we weren't even doing it then. Well, I was doing once or twice, you know, if somebody raised a pig, and I asked them, I said, what do I have to do for you guys to never have to come here again for this? Because they want to know, what's your formula? Well, we're using I know,
understand, yeah.
not in my head, I don't know the formula, 20%. It's 20%, you know, injection to the weight of the meat. But what's the formula? I said, well, we'll go and buy the formula in your book, because we had the book. And they finally signed off on it because we were I'm not selling. You raise a pig, you bring me the hams, bacons, and shoulders. I do this as a service to the farmer for a fee. Your meat goes back to you. You pay me to do the job. I wasn't selling anything. But because I was doing it, period, they wanted to come and inspect every year. But if I wasn't doing any smoking, I'm not talking about the ribs that cook on the outside cooker. If I wasn't doing that kind of custom smoking, they didn't have to inspect me. So I wrote off on the custom smoking, said I'm not doing enough of it to make it worth my while anyway.
Okay.
So,
Well, I want to try to keep this about the
Yeah.
grease trap maintenance. If you
Yeah.
have a conversation with
Yeah.
her offline about anything else, I mean, that's up to,
Yeah.
you know, if you have any questions or anything, you can.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you want to check in tomorrow or this week or something, and we can help you get an application together and everything. you can apply
yeah,
for
I
that.
know, I work all the rest of the week. So I'm only available on Mondays and Tuesdays for anything like that.
Okay,
I work from 7 to 5.
okay. Do we have
Is there
the
any kind
application
of
online?
form application or?
Well, 9A,
Yeah,
DEP 9A is the variance form.
yeah.
And you can print that off. I can, write it down. So you just go onto the DEP website.
All right, I
If
have
you
to
just-
go to the library to
If you
do that. so
literally
that's
just
another
Google
thing.
DEP, variance form, or you know what, I can probably,
Email?
Do we have a
email
copy?
it to you. No, I don't, but I'll go online and I'll email it to you.
So you can email it to me and I can fill it out online?
No, I don't think
She can send you a link. You can find, yeah, you have to go to
That
their
I don't
website
know.
to see if
You
Yeah,
it's.
have
because I
to-
have to go, that was my computer I just showed you.
That's it.
I don't have any use for it. You
I mean,
if
I
you
don't know
really
how,
don't-
I don't know how much more we got. I mean, should she hang around, if she wants to hang around for a few and get a copy before,
Yeah, that's
can we
fine.
print a copy off for her?
Yeah, I just have to, oh, you know what? I can,
You know
She's
what?
got one.
hold
She's
on.
gonna
No,
see
I
it.
don't
But you can
have
print
one.
it to this printer, right? Or no?
Yeah.
Well, we'll see if we can print you up a copy before you, if you leave, if
She's
you,
gonna do
if you wanna
that.
hang around for a few. we'll move on to the next
A few,
agenda
a
item.
few.
Give me,
As long as it takes her to find it.
give me a minute and a
print it.
half.
That's why I said a few. If I knew specifically, I would have
Not
told you.
qualified,
I
but
know. We know what a couple is,
yeah,
so far.
a few.
A few is more than two.
Yes,
Yeah.
less than five.
All right.
Oh, okay.
All right, so we'll work on that. We'll move on to the next agenda item.
Okay.
So we got a vote to approve animal inspector pay increase bylaw line for town meeting with a maximum of $3,500 annually.
Do we know what it is now? She's waiting for the printer.
It's numbered right now. Hang on.
I saw the town report out there, I should have grabbed it. And you know the history behind this.
Somewhat. You know more, you can recap it.
No, I just say.
So, in regards to the animal inspector, Glenna, you can just grab that right off. the
All right,
printer.
great. Thank you, everybody.
It hasn't been increased. I don't remember it being increased since I started. So right now,
She's talking wage and personnel.
yes, wage and personnel. Right now, it's 1,000 to 1,600. It needs to go up to 3,500.
Because we're already paying her more
Whoops.
than that happened. Every year, she's been getting her 2% increase,
And it,
but the line was never increased. Not in the past 10 years.
right.
So this is a course correction.
You good?
I guess,
Yeah, so just fill it out and bring it back and attach your well report to it.
well, report.
The well water report that you got done in February, you said?
Okay.
The water software company.
Whoever did it, yeah.
I don't need this copy yet. These are the, if you want to take these with you and just read them.
Yeah, because I don't
This is the-
understand one
so-
thing on
Circle.
here.
So these are the specific sections from Title V.
Okay.
There's like 100 and something page book, but I just have, these 6 pages are all kind of what's relevant to you. If you want to read it, just so you fully understand what the regulations
Yeah,
are.
I'll look at it.
So that's 15,230, and this is the maintenance on grease traps. So that references 15,351. 351 is also in here, and that's right here. So this tells you
Okay.
system pumping maintenance, and you can read through that. And this is applicable to grease traps. This is where you get the 25% over 3 months.
Yeah,
So
okay.
that's what you're looking to ask for relief for if you choose to.
Okay.
All right?
Form 9A,
Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
Yep,
application for local upgrade approval.
yep, for variance.
Or variance.
That's what it is.
Okay, it just says approval on
Yeah.
it, so.
There you go.
Okay, thanks. Oh, well, you'll probably be hearing from me because I don't understand any. Okay, thanks, everyone.
Yeah, have a good one.
Good night.
All right, so back to
We have
animal
to-
inspector we're talking about.
Yes. What did you say? It's like 1,500 now?
It's highlighted.
Oh,
I highlighted it.
So it's 1,000 to 1,600 is the
that is
budget amount?
No, we've been paying her more than that probably
Right.
for the past 10 years. But
Yeah, I
this
think
was
she
never
gets like
corrected.
250,
Yeah, 250.
250 a month.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever that adds up to. Hold on 1 second. $3,006,
So this
somewhere
would-
thereabout.
This
But that
would
hasn't.
give us another year before we have to raise it again, or maybe 2, and then we'd have to raise it. But we at
Yeah.
least have to raise it to cover what we're paying her anyway.
Well, she did not get, when all the wage and personnel people received their 2% July 1st, the animal inspector did not, because that hasn't been increased.
Okay.
So it will be retroactive after October
July
town
1st.
meeting, if it passes, hopefully it will,
So that she gets that.
so that she gets what she's entitled to.
And where did the max 3,500 number come from? Where was,
Downstairs, that's the information they gave.
So
The
probably,
TA's office,
okay. So it might have been along with the accountant.
yes.
Okay.
Yes. Let me see. Hold on. I think I have it in writing here someplace.
So it might even say something to increase it to 3,000 to 3,500, because there's always a little range.
Let me see if I can't find it in my emails.
I threw it away. That's part of your agenda. That's the-
Let me see. Yeah, so, hang on.
I was just curious where we got that $3,500 number from, that's all.
Probably because based on what she's already being paid and then a little bump to allow it to go up 2%.
I'm sure there was an attachment
What did
on
you
this.
say,
When did I get this?
251?
She sent this August 23rd. Hold on, let me just go to August 23rd to
You
see.
did 252. I mean,
Yes,
what,
so,
10?
they're the ones that wrote the 3,500, and I have an email from Lynn, and she included, I believe you guys got the email as well, and she hand wrote in 3,500, circled the 1,000 to 1,600, and wrote in 3,500.
Okay. So I'm thinking, if we're changing it, and that's gonna be July 1st of '23, the range should be 3,000 to 3,500.
I would just change it, say 1,000 to 3,500.
That's a big range.
That's
It's well
the only
past-
thing that they changed on this, and this is directly the email from them, is 3,500. Kevin? 3,500 is the only thing they wrote in.
Okay.
But we're not gonna go backwards and pay her 1,000. That's never gonna happen.
No.
No, but if it's, well.
We're never
do
gonna go
whatever you
backwards.
want, but
Generally, the ranges are much closer to that, so to me, it would make sense to say 3,000 to 3,500 because she's making a little over 3,000 now.
Right.
We're never gonna go back down to $1,000.
if you hire somebody new, you might.
For a year?
I don't know.
An annual salary?
Yeah. I hope not. Unless you're providing them with food and board, that's not gonna happen. So I would suggest that we go to 3,000 to 3,500 just to make it make sense, because in most cases, that's how you see the wage and personnel. I've never seen a gap that big, like even this is 25 to 35. And then it's going up 25 to 420. It's still, yeah. She might have just wanted to say that that had to go up and that had to be the minimum amount, but. So, do you want me to make a motion?
Sure.
I'll make a motion that we, change the line item under wage and personnel for the animal inspector range to be 3,000 to 3,500 effective January 1st, 2023.
July 1st.
Oh, sorry, July. I wrote July, but I said
And
January.
that was an annual salary, correct?
Yes, annual. Yep.
I'll second that motion. All in favor? Aye. Okay.
Do we need to vote for this to go on the, it's already in for the warrant?
No, because
It's just a change to personnel, it's not.
yeah, because you guys don't have authority over wage and personnel.
So it'll all be accepted as a.
That's my understanding.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. Next item on the agenda, we have
Vote to approve amended town meeting articles.
vote to approve amended town meeting articles for transfer station.
Yep,
And we
so, yeah, you already did the
We had to
betterment
change
loan.
the amount.
This is the other one.
We had to change the amount on this.
Right, so this was,
On this one here, the amount is changed and, he
16,000?
combined both articles into the one article. The town accountant did. You had two separate articles before?
No,
And now-
we didn't.
Yes.
We had the betterment loan, which was one
And
article.
then two other articles.
Oh, I didn't know about, what were the
Right.
other two?
we had one for waste
Transfer station.
disposal for solid waste, and then we
Yep.
had one for wage and personnel.
Okay.
So,
Animal
this one as proposed, it's Article 22, that the town move to transfer $55,000 appropriated at the October 3rd, 2020 special town meeting, Article 11, compactor replacement,
Okay.
to supplement the fiscal year 2024 budget voted at the May 1st, 2023 annual town meeting as
So
follows.
it wasn't originally like that.
That wasn't originally like that.
No.
So we're now taking that money that was set aside to buy a compactor
Right.
2 years ago and putting it into the budget. That is not something that we had discussed at our meeting. Not was absolutely. I thought what you were talking about was we adjusted the amount of money we were asking for because there was this, and I should have brought it with me. For some reason, there was
It was 50,000 and 50,000.
but it shouldn't have been 50,000 because the number, the 143 was an erroneous number that had gone
It's not
down.
that though.
It's not now, it should be
No.
something more
So-
like 16.
So the numbers now is salaries 15,000.
Yes,
Expenses 40,000.
yes, and that's
So it's a
because they're
total of
transferring that money.
55,000.
Yes, the money's
So-
being
and
And the difference
transferred.
is they're taking it out of,
Out of, we're not gonna be able to buy the contractor because,
Yeah, the
they're taking
contractors
that money and moving it.
increase, so that's, yeah, they're taking that money and moving it over to this, trying to,
right,
balance the budget, so,
Right.
per se.
So
Right.
the explanation is proposed by us, the Board of Health, obviously.
yep,
The explanation is we projected out of the 430 solid waste line 67, salaries need to be increased from $116,515 to $131,515, and the expenses line 68 be increased from $212,300 to $252,300.
okay,
So that was an increase of 40, and that was an increase of 15.
right,
40, 15, total of 55,000, that's what the number is proposed on the
for
article,
both, okay, yeah,
as a combined.
yep. That makes sense, but that was never, that was, yeah.
So we just,
Cleaned up and put together. It makes sense to do, well, they're moving the money first and then putting it into our existing budget without having to ask for a lot more.
so we just need to take a vote to approve the amended articles.
The
for
amended
next
article,
decision.
all right. I'll make a motion that we vote to approve the amended article, Article 22, for October town meeting.
I'll second that motion, all in favor? Aye. Okay, item number 6 on the agenda, Title V inspections, use of cameras in lieu of exposing system components. This kind of snowballed from a couple issues we
To
had.
another,
We had with Wind River and a couple Title V inspections one of their employees had done.
yep.
So did we have,
We did have
There was
something,
a-
'cause I
there was a-
saw it.
There's a
Oh,
letter.
This letter. You should have this letter.
okay, well, that's the
Right
next,
here.
I think that's the next item we'll cover on 7. I just wanted to keep this one
oh, the
kind of specific.
supplemental regs are on
Yeah, I
there,
wanted to
yeah.
keep this one kind of specific to just the use of cameras and how,
Oh, so is it part of Title V, is there use of cameras?
Yes, I'm waiting for the guidance from Title V, from DEP.
I believe there is certain provisions
There
that
is.
they are allowed to do it.
Is it generally standard practice to use
No. Typically, you will keep the system components.
by visual?
So, I had Teresa include this. This is from like our supplemental regulations. This is just, did you look at this?
No.
So this is just for system inspectors, Title
Yep.
V inspections.
Yes.
Reports will not be accepted unless you are permitted in Hanson. You must follow the following regulations below. Cesspools are an automatic failure. If the perk test was done prior to Title V,
Yep, has to
1995.
be redone.
Yep, you have to do a soil evaluation to determine groundwater. System must be pumped after the inspection.
Mm-hmm,
Page 7, water meter readings must be included. Page 15 of the report, they have to obviously provide a sketch.
Right,
Outlet cover of the septic tank be brought to grade. In addition, filter must be placed on the outlet side of the tank. D-box will be brought to within 6 inches of grade. So, I
you
mean,
can't do that with a camera.
well,
need the articles.
that's in order for them
No, I don't
to
have it.
realistically to pass it. And in the case that we had the issue, they gave it a conditional pass that they said the D-box needed to be repaired. So in the process of the repair, they would have brought that to grade.
May I interrupt for a moment?
Yep.
May I have that other article back, because I have to send an email downstairs, so they can, deal with it at the town meeting, at the
one,
selectmen's
and
meeting.
then the-
Thank you, 22 is what I needed, thank you.
So, number 7, bedroom count must be done by the Title V inspector, and then if the state and local requirements cannot be met, the report should be classified as a conditional
Right.
pass or needs further evaluation by the Board of Health.
Is that new, or was that always there? Report need to be submitted within 15 days. I know you've highlighted it, but has that
No,
always
this
been there?
is the form that's been in since that
Okay.
date. Yeah, this hasn't been
All right.
changed
That's
at
a
all.
Title V requirement.
Yeah, they need
Okay.
to submit the report. And then there are other requirements from in Title V that
that are not here, these are
Right,
ours.
these are just kind of our additional requirements. Some are reiterate the same thing Title V says, but some
Right.
I think are an addition. But I just kind of thought we should talk about, the use of cameras, and I don't think we should go as far as to say that there could be a situation where somehow something ends up under a driveway or under a deck on an existing house.
And you don't want them to dig it up.
And you have to allow someone to do that. So I'd hate to make a decision to say we won't allow that at all.
Would
But I
we
think with
consider
board
getting
approval,
approval?
board approval.
Yep.
So, but
And
I
if an
think,
inspector wanted to, they'd have to come to the board.
I mean, in the situation that we had, you have an existing system that was older. It was put in prior to Title V, and the inspector didn't want to locate the component and dig it up. To me, an old system is even more of a reason to dig it up and locate it than it is to send a camera
yeah.
down there and not dig it up.
But kind of the same thing happened twice, right?
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, it was two separate properties, same
Two older
inspector.
systems,
Two older systems.
Older
yes.
systems, old,
two older systems,
yes, very old.
yeah.
So,
I would absolutely agree with a case-by-case basis, if they come before us,
yeah,
and request to use,
that would be the
it's
only
not
time.
standard.
That would be the only time that if we granted approval for a
Right.
specific reason, a specific one-off circumstance that they said, hey, look, we cannot dig this component up because of X, Y, Z. 10 years ago, someone built a deck over it and we can't get in it, for whatever the reason may be, and that can be looked at on a case-by-case basis, but
Right.
I just hate to make a ruling that it can never be done.
It penalizes everybody.
Right, but that way, we're aware of the situation, they have to come in front of us, tell us, hey, look, we have to do this for this reason. But other than that, I think they need to locate all the components, dig them up, provide pictures, really like they're supposed to. That I think we can, and the reason was, I think we can add that to this and update
Yes.
this.
Yep. And
Okay.
that is just our,
These are our supplemental regulations.
okay. And so all we have to do is add it to this and then vote on it once we've added it?
Yeah,
Okay.
We'll vote on it and I'll add it.
Okay,
Just like you guys
Just
voted on
reword
the
it.
$25 fee.
yep,
Yes.
okay,
Yeah.
so,
So, Can I just get this right? All Title V inspections must include the digging up of all components required for a Title V inspection?
yes, exposing all components.
and do you want to add to that? Request for using a camera must be,
And the use of camera to locate components will not be allowed without approval of
prior
the Board
approval of the Board
prior-
of Health.
Correct, prior approval of the Board of Health. So we're on the same page.
We're
with
on the
that.
same page, my question is, does that hold
Utilize
someone up
a
if we're in
camera.
between meetings?
And utilize the camera to conduct a Title V, will only be allowed in
With prior approval of the Board of Health.
permitted.
Do you want to make
Prior.
a motion for that?
Yeah, I'm waiting for her to finish that.
Okay.
The BOH. Okay, so moving forward, all Title V inspections must include exposing of all Title V components and utilizing a camera to conduct a Title V will only be permitted with prior approval by the Board of Health.
And did you want to say using camera only? Because you want them to take pictures of the first components, the first set of components.
Yeah,
They do that anyway,
two different
do they?
pictures. I'm talking,
Yes.
they need to take, physical
Once
pictures.
they've dug them up.
And include with their report. I'm saying
Yes.
a camera to scope and actually,
Right. But
look at them.
But her first part of that said something about camera, but they're gonna use the camera to take pictures of the components. And I wanted to make sure that those are two separate things.
One
They're
camera in
still providing pictures of the components that they dug up.
Photograph-
If they wanna use the camera only, they have to get prior approval. And I wanna make sure
Photographs.
that's what it says.
Of the components should continue to be
Should be submitted.
submitted.
Yeah, photographs of all components need to be submitted with the report. All
Photographs
components
of-
exposed.
All of the exposed components should
Be submitted.
be submitted Okay,
Yep,
And
submitted
then-
with the report.
The component camera is just like a rod that goes through pipes.
attached to
It's
the.
a camera that's on a cable, and
Right,
they push it through.
right, and that I understand, but that's what we don't want them to do.
Right.
But she still wants, you dig it up, you take a picture of it so we know what you saw,
Yeah.
and you attach it to the plan, and I wanted that to be
Yeah, picture the
two
debug.
separate things.
Correct, yeah.
Because you still have to do this, and I can see somebody
Okay.
saying, well, it wasn't
Moving
clear.
forward, all Title V inspections must include exposing all Title V components and utilizing a camera to conduct a Title V will only be permitted with prior approval by the Board of Health. Photographs of all the exposed components should be submitted attached to the Title V report.
Yeah, what do you think? Can we just add that as like, maybe do two separate line items?
Yeah.
Just to break it up
Yes.
so it's not
Yes.
one,
So that it doesn't run in and it's clear.
Okay.
So the first, that picture thing that's on the last part of
Yep.
the paragraph needs to go up in the middle, where you read the first part of that paragraph.
Moving forward, all Title V inspections must include exposing all Title V components.
So stop there,
Yep.
add in the pictures. For the pictures, move it up there.
All right.
and pictures must be submitted with Title V. report.
Yes,
Okay. Photographs of all of the exposed components should be submitted should be attached to the Title V report.
Correct.
yes.
And utilizing a camera to conduct a.
Separate.
Separate, yeah.
Stop
Okay.
there,
Okay,
That's
report,
separate.
yep.
and then the second part of that is separate.
Utilizing a camera or scope system to locate system components shall only be
Done with prior
done
approval.
with prior board approval.
Yep.
Okay. Scoping, is that the term? Is that what you said?
I would use that.
Camera,
Utilizing
Yeah,
a
because
camera
utilizing a camera
Well,
covers it. It's still a camera, no
and
matter how you do it.
and or scope. Scoping of system or scope of system?
the use of a camera.
Use of a camera.
Underground camera, why don't you put that?
Yeah,
Use of
underground
underground
sounds good, yeah.
camera or scope.
Okay.
To visualize components can only be done with prior
Ground,
approval.
camera and scope,
To visualize,
oops, will only be permitted with prior approval by the Board of Health.
yes.
Okay. Okay. All right, utilizing an underground camera and or scope will only be permitted with prior approval by the Board of Health.
Did you want to visualize components or
These-
not?
These changes will be effective.
As soon as we vote. You want it
Okay.
to be effective September
August,
1st?
no, August
today?
29th,
Maybe today,
Oh.
effective immediately.
Couple of days.
2023. Okay.
Okay, so
Yeah.
now I'm gonna make a motion that we add those two items to our list of, what would you call this?
Title V supplemental regulations.
Supplemental regulations.
Following to the, yep,
Okay, and I'll second that. And that will be effective immediately?
Yes.
Okay, I'll second
Effective
that.
today.
All in favor? Aye?
Okay.
Okay. All right, so kind of a snowball off of that. Item number 7 is Wind River Title V inspections and residential complaints. So what we have is,
This one, Dana?
yes, so we have received,
It's Donna.
we have received
Oh,
from Donna Noonan, property owner at, what property address is this?
401 Brook.
409?
401
401 Brook?
401 Brook.
Okay, this is a property owner, 401 Brook Street. To whom it may concern, I hired Wind River to perform a Title V inspection of pumping on my home. Through email conversations with Stephen McFawn, I was told that the system conditionally passed with a soil evaluation test and a new distribution box needed to be installed to come into compliance. I had the soil test done and I was told that it passed, and I then waited until my home was under agreement to have the distribution box replaced, as I am single, disabled woman who lives on a fixed income, and did not have the funds to complete both items at the same time. On August 10th, 2023, Wind River hired On Grade Excavation to replace the distribution box where they discovered that my system was in hydraulic failure. They called Gil Amato, the town of Hanson health agent, to confirm. Once on site, Mr. Amato called the district manager, Eric Mueller, from Wind River, to the site to confirm the findings. There have been a number of errors from the start. The person who inspected my system initially has had his license revoked in the town of Hanson for this being his second offense in approximately 1 month by passing septic systems that were clearly in failure. I paid for, however, never received a report from my Title V inspection. In addition, the report was never submitted to the town within the allowed time frame of 15 days. As mentioned above, I am a single woman who is disabled and living on a fixed income. I put my home on the market with a passing Title V with conditions, knowing that it would cost approximately $4,500 to bring it into compliance. I accepted an offer on my home and went under contract on a new home in another state with all of this in mind. At this point, all my options have been taken away from me. Had I known that my septic failed up front, I would have been able to adjust the sales price, making it the responsibility of the buyer to install, not accepted a VA offer, making it impossible to do any sort of holdback, not marketing my home for sale until I was able to come up with a resolution. I have signed a purchase and sale agreement for my home which states that I will provide a passing Title V. I have signed purchase and sale on a home in Florida which is contingent on the selling of my home in Hanson. I am handcuffed by circumstances that I have no control over and there are no fault of mine. Wind River needs to stand behind the errors of their employees and correct the situation. I hereby demand that Wind River cover the cost of all engineering and installation of a new septic system no later than September 15th, 2023. Sincerely, Donna Noonan. So we received this. This.
Did she send this to Wind River?
I believe so, yes,
Yes.
and we were CC'd
You
on
were
it.
CC'd on it. Okay.
Yeah. So, this isn't really anything I feel we need to take action on. This we're here to receive reports.
Right, and so
overall.
that we're made aware
And
of
we
it.
never received the report, so.
Right.
So, and what, we haven't talked to Wind River about why we didn't receive a report.
Yes, I've been following this all along.
Yeah.
So what was there?
The report was never created. And
But they charged the woman
Yes.
for the
they did.
inspection,
Yes.
and she paid for it.
Well, that's, like I've explained, I haven't been involved in any financial stuff.
Yeah,
And no, but I'm just saying, we're not gonna help her with that, but she
No.
can go to the Attorney General's office.
Yeah, she understands
She
all
paid
that.
them for
Yeah.
a service that they didn't provide, that is putting her in this situation.
Yeah, as far as
Stop.
our involvement, right, I feel for the lady. But as far as our involvement, this isn't something we should be
My
getting involved in.
concern is that I had asked Teresa to look at what other places had that particular installer worked on in the past, like even from January of this year, to see if we might have other problems out there.
1, 2, 3. He
And I
did,
don't know. She did.
yeah, he did 3 in 2023, 2 being on the same property, 409 Gorwin. He did System 1 and System 2 on 409 Gorwin, and he did on June 2nd, 209 Main Street. And then in the previous year, he did, I think, only 1.
In case there were any other surprises.
Yeah, on 45 Sleigh Drive in July 19th, 2022, he did 1.
And you said 409 Golan System 1 and System 2?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 409
Is that the
going,
one that we just had recently?
There's a proposed plan on for 409 Golan tonight.
But that was the one recently that the people were selling it, and they had like a studio
There was a
that we were gonna
studio
let them
that had-
stay in, because that one
That
was
system-
working.
That was the first issue.
That was the first
Yeah,
one
the
that
first
brought
issue.
this to our attention,
Right.
was the
it had
409.
apparently years ago, there was an art studio there, and they were allowed to put a small system in just for the studio.
they had a bathroom or something
Yeah,
there.
bathroom, and a bedroom they used it to.
Yeah.
So we had 2 different septic systems there.
Yeah.
And that's been all corrected, there's a new plan for it and everything. But the same thing happened there, and like with this 401 Brook Street, getting back to this, I followed this along with the homeowner, the realtor, and Eric Mueller, Wind River. They've owned up to it, and we all met at the site. Like it says, I brought them right down to the site, review the site. We all confirmed there's an hydraulic failure, the system is in failure, and then it just took off from there. They're supposed to deal with the homeowner. Myself,
Right.
I was there to witness a hydraulic failure. Their Title V inspectors did not meet the criteria for the inspection, so they're on
So
the
it was
job
not a
now.
conditional pass.
Verbally,
failure.
verbally, a conditional pass. We never found, when Mr. Mueller went back to the office and tried to locate the actual printed Title V.
But
it
the
was not
409?
there. 401 here.
Let me
Oh.
ask
Yeah.
you this, when these inspections were done, were they pumped?
Yes,
Yeah.
I don't, so if a Title V comes in and it doesn't have everything that's listed on the
Which is the
supplemental
pump slip.
regulations, I put it in an envelope and I send it back to them.
No, I know, but my question is, no report was submitted on this, were pump records submitted?
No.
No,
So
because
they didn't-
nothing was
Nobody
completed.
nobody knew.
So they didn't pump it. What happened was, someone went out and looked at this and said, we can give you a pass if you replace the D-box. They didn't document nothing, they didn't do a report, they didn't pump it. What they should have done was filled out a report, pumped it, done the complete inspection, submitted pictures, everything, and filed it as a conditional pass, needs the D-box repair. They did. That the inspection really wasn't done. Someone went out there,
Well, I got
And they-
pictures
and
somewhere
they-
in River that,
right, but what I'm saying
cameraed
is,
it.
Who did?
they did it. I'm not saying they
Yeah.
didn't go out there. I'm saying they went out there, they got a call, someone got a call. They went out there and they kind of did it like a preliminary inspection, said, yeah, we can pass you, we'll give you a passing report if you replace the D-box. That they kind of just did it on the fly, because had they done
Yeah,
it
it's
all
on a-
legit, they would have pumped it.
Yes, I
Yeah.
agree with that.
They
yeah.
should have maybe done a groundwater observation.
Probably.
They should have scheduled that, probably because I'm sure it had Orangeburg pipe, didn't it?
Orangeburg pipe,
It was
yeah.
an old
Yeah,
system,
so
so it's
soils
prior
would
to
have had
Title
to have
V.
been done,
So they
yeah.
should have scheduled a soil test, they should have had pump slips, and they should have had a report with a conditional pass on it. They had none of it.
None. No.
And they didn't do it, and the soils was
So-
done afterwards, that's documented in emails from her to Wind River.
So, I mean, as far as the property owners, I mean, if there's information and stuff, we can help them as far as like giving them documentation. I think that's probably the extent of how we can get
Yes.
involved. I don't think we should
Oh,
really get
no,
involved with,
no.
you know, with.
Her issue is with Wind River.
Right.
And
it's
that,
up
and
to
that
them.
person has already had their, license to do Title
Suspended,
V.
it's not revoked, or is it suspended? We suspended it.
Yes, it's suspended.
Not revoked.
Suspended,
Not
right,
revoked,
but
yeah.
it says revoked online because there's no suspended.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
So what's happening now, working with the real estate agent and the homeowner, sent the VA. The VA is very tough on these loans, and that the D-box was replaced. It will work for a short amount of time. You know, if they put the money in escrow and stuff, they
Because
can.
you don't want
live
somebody
in
to
it.
buy a property and they're gonna turn around in 6
Right.
months and have a huge expense.
So, I mean, they've been sending me everything that, you know, all the text messages and emails back and forth with Wind River, like I've explained to them. I'm not, you know, I can't get involved in the, you know,
So
financial
you don't know
part of it.
when they're gonna
but-
start the work.
The work is starting. They hired an engineer and
They're
everything.
perking September 5th.
September,
Okay.
they're doing a perk.
What
Next
property is that for?
401
401 Brook.
Street, Brook
Yeah.
Street, okay.
It might just change her timeline.
Yeah, you've got the other one, 409 on the agenda here, so.
That's today, because we
Yeah.
talked about this before,
Yeah.
probably 2 months ago. That's when we first,
So,
Yeah, I think the best we can do is, I mean, you guys can just continue.
be
to-
aware of it.
Continue to, you know,
Yeah.
anything you can do is schedule and to possibly help them out, stuff like that. If they ask for documentation, trying to help
Yeah.
them out, getting them
Yeah.
information they need. But aside from that, we really can't get involved too much with who they hired and the issues that they have with them. Do we have anything else on that, or?
On Wind River, no?
Next item on the agenda is trash contracts. It's due to expire March 1st, 2024.
Mm-hmm. Which will be here before you know it.
Yes, it
So,
will.
it's on your radar now.
Yes.
I don't know.
So, on this, Arlene, I mean, I don't know if you've talked to Todd from DEP about this, but they did a complete review on the contracts for the transfer station study
Yeah.
committee,
Yep.
and he did a whole presentation. So if you want to, you know, contact him.
I can reach out to him to see what's happening with, because there are 18 towns that are in South Shore Recycling. And we all have to go through this, and the pool of who you can use just gets smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
So there might be only 3 companies out there that we can deal with now, but we can find out
Yeah.
what other towns are being charged. We tried to 2 years ago to get all the towns together to get the same price as them, and they wouldn't.
Yeah.
They wouldn't entertain it at all.
So I know Todd and Claire did a presentation to Melissa, Joe, and the other.
Yes,
these guys.
I will
So
ask about that because I wasn't perfect.
That had, yeah, I wasn't perfect to it, but all all the charges and the, disposal
The
cost
cost.
of that, were all in that,
right.
proposal to them, so.
I know there's, is it Del Preet is interested in bidding on this
On, oh,
contract.
okay. So I wonder where we have to do an RFP.
Yeah, I don't know, or
No, trash isn't.
that company is interested in submitting to be in the game, so to speak.
Okay. And they're interested not in curbside, they're interested in waste transfer station.
Correct.
Okay.
That's my understanding,
Making
yes.
sure. Well, that's good to know.
Todd is from DEP, right?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
He is.
KOEP.
Alright.
So this is for us to get information and start looking around, see what our,
Yeah, because it's gonna be here before you know
oh,
it.
it will be.
And
Will
then
be.
we're gonna be in the same situation.
And what are we paying them right now? This.
So let me see, hauling fee is $173.42 per haul, plus a 14% fuel surcharge.
That's what we're doing now.
Yep, and the equipment rental is $843.75. So
Yep,
that's for
per month.
five compactors, yep.
Yep.
And let's see, it's 120 per ton for recycling, 143 per ton for trash.
That's changed. Recycling used to be more. It always cost us more to get rid of the recycling, which we weren't paying for before.
We would,
Trash
well,
was cheaper.
recycling, we didn't pay for recycling the first year we had the contract.
We didn't.
Right.
But once we started paying for recycling, it cost us more to get rid of the recycling than it did the trash.
Correct.
So
Yep.
that has flipped now,
Mhm.
so it's a little less for recycling.
Question on that. Do you think it would be beneficial to put something together, maybe even if it was in the Whitman Hanson Express?
For,
We're looking for proposals for contracts?
where do we usually put that?
We don't.
That's what I mean.
But I think
Claire
that's
can
probably
tell
a good
me.
idea.
But
usually
I know
we don't-
it's just Whitman Hanson, but still, I mean, you might,
We don't normally,
Cost
because it's, as
effective.
Gil said, it's not required to go out
it is
for
not
an
required, but
RFP.
in the past we have.
No,
We haven't done RFPs, but
No, we haven't done
we've asked,
RFPs.
we've entertained other companies.
Entertained other
So
companies,
how do
correct.
we tell those companies where our contract is up? I'm gonna
The
ask,
Whitman Hanson Express is a good idea.
but
I'm
would
just thinking
any of the
cost
local
effective
companies
is-
that are not?
But not necessarily a local company, but somebody that works for works for a company that
Yeah.
lives in Whitman or Hanson
Won't
might
hurt.
see it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
And it's short money to do it.
right.
yeah, maybe if we could get something together and put it in that, and then maybe if we could reach out to contracts that we've had in the past.
I am,
Maybe just
will
send them an
ask if
email,
there's a
just tell
trade
them.
magazine that those companies have,
Yeah, I
that
have no idea.
Claire might know
Mhm.
where people generally,
Mhm.
because there are only 2 or 3 companies, or
Yeah, I
if
believe
in
it's
fact,
narrowed down to
she's
3
reached
companies
out
now,
to
yeah.
the companies themselves and said, okay, this is what we want to do, will you put in a proposal?
Mhm.
That's a possibility. But there's
Yeah.
only like 3 companies, right?
Yeah, pretty.
Yeah.
But maybe there's smaller companies that,
They've all gotten eaten up,
I don't know.
just like the waste.
Well, I
here in
think Del
Hanson.
Preet is a smaller company. I don't know anything.
Del Preet's been around forever. though.
Right, but I believe they're a smaller company that's relatively
They're
local.
not national.
Right, they're
Right.
right, and there's, isn't there another company in Whitman?
There is.
Well, I know DSAC, but I don't know if DSAC does that type of stuff.
I thought they just.
I don't think you do that
Yeah,
anymore.
I'm not
No.
sure. So it might be worth it
Who
to put
was the
something in the
company
paper.
that
I think that's a
dumped
really good
Whitman?
idea.
Republic, I'm not sure.
Okay,
Whitman got dumped, Pembroke got dumped. Pembroke, they went through 3 different companies once they get dumped, so. It's tough.
I'm
It's
definitely
very
gonna
tough.
find out who walked out of their contract halfway through.
So I say, Todd will have the answers.
Todd will.
Anything you're gonna put together, as far as proposals, anything costing, Todd has that all put together.
He has it all put
Give you-
together. Claire would know how to reach
Yeah.
people about, getting bids,
Yeah.
because we've done it through South Shore.
When they say, he holds the package all
Definitely
together, they did all the research, and he presented it to them, and that's when, the committee kind of broke down a little bit, so.
Okay,
What would
so
we
I
put?
would look into that.
What would we put in the paper, or should we wait? I don't know.
Let's wait, because
I would wait until we figure out what the recommendations from Todd and Claire. And it may have
Yeah,
been in
just
the
the
past
thought,
that
so.
Yeah.
Claire
I think it's a
reached
really
out
good
to-
idea,
To come.
so I'll just put it in here that maybe,
possible,
yeah, perhaps
Yeah,
placing an advert with
something-
Hanson
we could do
Express.
something in
See if there are
November.
any
something
local
we could revisit,
companies.
that's
Yeah, no, in November we could do whatever advertisement we wanted to do, so
Yeah.
we still have time to, a little lead time to look at
Okay,
what the options are. But I definitely wanna stay away from anybody who's walked away from a contract.
yep, okay.
All right. Next item, health agent review. Mr. Amato? You wanna?
Well, I think it
Pretty-
was us, for him,
You
give
guys
him
would-
feedback,
You know?
Oh,
I mean,
that's this review.
that's that review.
Yeah, that's,
Okay.
that
Do you-
review.
Do you have a copy of his, last couple of reports? Some of the stuff I couldn't understand, the abbreviations,
They're in
they're
the-
in here somewhere.
Yeah.
I think they're in here.
Okay,
What one do you want?
either one doesn't matter. So I know the last time, maybe at the last meeting, Kevin had said you needed to beef these up a little, but I thought they had less information. But one of
Several
them says WD, and I don't know what
Water
that is.
department, yeah, that's, really, some of the addresses I put on those reports, I shouldn't actually be putting on the reports. There's, like three, I don't know what word it's like 3 or 4 active investigations on some of those addresses.
It doesn't matter, because we're the only ones that are gonna see them.
I know, but see, that's,
This
those
is
are now
not
public
part of public
records.
record, is it?
Yes, it is.
No, it doesn't have to be a public record.
No,
It doesn't have to be. If there's information on there that's confidential,
then we don't have to make it part
then
of a
no,
public record.
that can be.
No, but I think I don't know if you have one of the ones that just said WD every day, and I didn't know
That's,
what
that
that
was water
was.
power. I did write a thing on border one, what that stood for, so.
So FD is,
Fire department. Like there's every Monday, there's a meeting at the fire department. For a property.
and like Damien, 63 Pat, what does that mean?
Probably
When you state Damien, is that the?
Damien
Install.
Rosengrave, he's the installer.
installed.
Oh, see, now, I would have thought that was a restaurant. This is not clear. It's really
Yeah.
not clear, and I don't know what's going on. I would have to call you for every single thing. And I believe Kevin did say last month, there needed to be more clear information
Yeah.
to give us. So I should be able to read this and know you went to an address and what you were looking at, what you were doing, an inspection, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And this is so unclear. I would have thought that was the restaurant. I just thought the address was
Just a
weird.
general, we should be able to read it and have a general overview of kind of
What was
Yeah.
happening?
Like this is, like I think this is fine, Gil, for you for notes, so when you sit down and you do
Yes.
your report, like, okay, now I need to elaborate on this. But just so you can keep track, you know, kind of mentally
Yeah.
say, okay, this is where I was today, because I already
Yes.
forgot where I was
Yes.
today, I get it.
Right.
But I think these notes are good, and then you can, you know, give us a brief, this is what happened here at the Cove.
Yeah,
you
you'll
know.
see that- you'll see
Camp
it's
Kewaunee
cleared up
Cove,
and
you know, you gotta be more, like she said, kind of more descriptive,
Yeah.
not F department. Like, let's try not to abbreviate everything so much. Let's try to just, you know,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be a book, but maybe just, you know, a quick sentence on each one. You know,
So
a
that
full
we
sentence
know
kind of just.
you're going there and what you're there for. Because this would not, yeah, that is more
So
like
I've
your
spent-
notes.
So I've spent a lot of time on specific addresses, which I didn't put on this last report. The last report's kind of short. So if we can hold it from it not being a public, you know, record.
It doesn't have to be a public record, it's a report that comes to us of what you've done in terms of work. So it doesn't have to be public record, and we should be able to know what you're working on. You can't just say that it's confidential and then not let us know what's going on.
Yeah.
We're responsible for things that happen in town.
Or
They're
black-
gonna come to the, right,
You could take a marker and black that out so that
if it will
it's
become public
still,
record.
right, so if it goes with because normally those do go with the minutes.
Minutes.
But if you black out that section,
Right, it's something we've
then it's
discussed, but it's not
redacted and
public.
nobody can tell what
Yeah, but
the
it-
address is.
You can't withhold information from us because if somebody questions Kevin or I, we have no clue what they're talking about because we've not been informed. So I understand that things are confidential. In the world that I work in, everything's confidential.
Right, from the
Um,
general
this-
public,
this-
but not.
From the general public, but not from
the
us.
board, Right,
Not from us.
right.
Yeah. So that, yeah, definitely, I gave up after the first
Yeah.
one. It was like,
Like I've got,
nah, I can't, I don't know what that means.
So are we on the same page with everything with this?
Yeah, I'll
In terms of,
email,
yeah.
like I said, I've been told that, there's like 3 ongoing investigations I can't talk about.
No, we're
No,
not
we're
even
not talking
we're not
about
even
that.
talking about the investigations, we're just talking about like this, okay, so on 8/7, Monday, 8/7, it says
Yeah.
code. Then it says 8 o'clock office. Then
Oh,
then
you have
then
to
it says-
understand it's a water test.
It says F
You don't know
department
that.
meeting,
Yeah,
then it says 9:45 office, calls, 12 lunch. Like, alright, fire department, meeting on blah 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 with Joe Blow and,
Right,
yeah.
you know.
more
this guy.
descriptive.
Camp Kawani Cove, water testing, so someone can make kind of more sense out of it. And then, like, you don't have to elaborate on lunch, we get it, we don't need to know what you ate. Like, that's fine.
You might put in
But-
one, eh?
Lunch is
Okay,
lunch.
so-
But,
It's part of the day.
I understand, just so,
Yeah.
just a complete sentence, each one, it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't need to be a novel, but let's just try to, so, like Eileen said, I mean, us taking this, it's like, I have to sit here and scratch my head to make sense out of any of it, and I'm guessing, I'm not even sure what it
And I'm
says.
guessing wrong.
Same thing, okay, like, it says, like she said, Damien, 63 Platt Place, like, you know what that means, but we don't. Like,
With no
is
background.
it Damien's? Well, Damien's
Well,
address
that's-
isn't 63
Yeah.
Platt
That's
Place.
what I
You know,
thought when I read it.
So just, okay,
Okay.
63 Pratt Place,
Yeah.
septic tank inspection with the installer, Damien, or whatever his business name is, that's the
Right.
installer, put it on there. But, like, take these notes and abbreviations you got as a reminder to you, and then Phyllis says,
Write it out.
Write the whole thing
Okay.
out. Just so we're all on the same page, because a lot of the stuff, like I said, it's a lot of questions that we're gonna have that it's gonna be like, what is this?
If you
What's
type
this?
it, it'll
What's
be
this? What's this?
easier and faster for you.
But just so we basically,
It-
out of this
your
whole thing, we
notes.
might have 1 or 2 quick questions as
Yeah.
opposed to a question on like every single thing.
There's even going back in our old minutes, there's examples of how other,
Yeah,
Yeah, so
Agents did a
anything that
report.
needs to be redacted off of that, just black it out with a Sharpie.
for the copy that goes in,
Correct.
in the public
Correct.
record. But none of that does, because the information's not there.
I have no idea, I didn't read it.
It's just,
I just
like you
stamped
said,
it, yeah.
Damien,
Yeah.
address,
Yeah,
septic,
okay,
with no context for us to figure out
yeah.
what was actually where, because he arrived at the same thing I did.
Right.
Damien's is not at that address.
I know.
yeah, okay. So,
I don't even know what Pratt Place or Pratt Ave is. But it's not Damien's.
Alright,
let's get a
so,
new septic system, so.
alright, no, we understand,
Get that.
Gil, you got a lot of stuff to do and everything, and this is added onto your list,
Yeah.
but just try to stay up on it, and this, like, I think this is great, these are notes for you, and then just elaborate on them.
Okay.
That's all, just take each line item and just give us a quick sentence, quick brief, and then just neaten it up, that's all.
So that
Neaten
we
it up and elaborate.
can read it and understand exactly where you were, why, and what happened.
Right.
Quick.
Yeah, Woodman Terrace, it was a septic inspection, I was out there with, Bo Dyer for a tank inspection, or a bottom hole inspection, whatever it was,
Yeah.
That's all, just a quick explanation, Alright.
Makes sense. So are we gonna follow up on, we should follow up on the classes and stuff we were supposed to be taking. Where are we with that stuff?
The classes, I've taken the time management class. That was done, time management class was done in, let's see.
That was a couple months ago,
That's the completion.
because I think you told us you had done that.
Yeah.
So,
So you sent us something.
yeah,
Yeah, I
so,
get that.
certificate of completion presented to Gil Amato for successfully completing a free online course for time management provided by Great Learning Academy, so that was July 2023.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
so,
That's one of the classes I've taken.
Okay.
I've also taken a course in global warming and climate change. So I became an actual health ambassador from this Eco America, who they're a growing company trying to educate health-related fields throughout the country. It's like a 5.5-hour course that you take, and you get kind of a certificate, and you get a kind of a badge, and try to promote it, being an ambassador, to educate other health professionals. I've got like 3 or 4 people I've already, given cards to take this course and become more aware of what takes place with climate change. We're learning that growing seasons have increased dramatically. Vector-borne illnesses will increase dramatically because of the seasons have lengthened. The climate's changed so much. The seasons have spread out. And once I get going with this, we'll get bulletins from them and that they, present to the other ambassadors. We're all ambassadors. Everybody that joins this thing takes this course as an ambassador to try to promote this to other people in the health-related fields. So people get educated in the climate control and global warming. So.
All right, so this is from Climate for Health Ambassador. Climate for Health is pleased to bestow the designation of Climate for Health Ambassador to Gilberto Amato on August 5th, 2023 for the completion of the Climate for Health Ambassadors training program as a Climate for Health Ambassador. The above named is now authorized to present information on climate and health impacts and advocacy strategies on climate solutions in the United States. climateforhealth.org.
Okay. So those are good, but the certification, where are we with your certifications?
As far as what now?
Certifications that you were supposed to do when you started, when you got hired.
Which ones?
For inspector, for Title V inspections, solar evaluator.
No, we've talked about that before, and we felt that we didn't need it. Kevin spoke about that 2 meetings ago.
Kevin, did you say that?
I think kind of how we left it off. I mean, I'm going off memory here, but
Yeah.
that was that one, it wasn't needed.
Title V didn't require it.
Okay, so in order to do inspections, it's to witness perk tests and stuff. It's not required. It's not required to have a soil evaluator license as the approving authority to witness a perk test. That the person conducting the perk test, the civil engineer, the soil evaluator, whoever's working the property, that person obviously needs it. But as far as the approving authority, the Board of Health, their representative agent is a witness. They don't need to be a licensed soil evaluator. That was what the Title V reg said.
Right, and I remember you bringing that up in a meeting.
Yep. And I think how we talked about it the last time we talked about this, I don't know if it was when we did the review, but I think it was more, I know for myself that I still feel the same way, that I wanted to see him focus on more things than continually just focusing on the soil evaluator thing. That I wanted to see him focus on doing the food inspections again, and I know we had talked about that.
Is that happening?
Yeah, well, the next round starts at the end of this year here, the next few months.
Question is, are you doing that?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. We have issues. I've inspected places. I've been through Shaw's. I don't know if you saw the picture of the Shaw's.
All right, so we're not using, is it Susan?
Kathy.
Kathy. We're not using Kathy at all.
Yeah, not yet, no.
Well, no, there's not yet. We shouldn't
Well,
be using her at all, is my understanding, that you were taking them over.
Yes, I'm taking them over, but there's such a thing as a workload and overflow. So, and when that does happen, we'll come before the board for that.
You're going to have to come before the board because we
Yeah,
really
I
should
have
not.
no problem with it whatsoever.
So back to the soil evaluator. I know that was your feeling, and I don't think Melissa and we didn't vote about it, we didn't talk about it a lot, but right now, we're paying somebody who is a soil evaluator to do those tests. Who would do that if he doesn't become a soil evaluator?
So, in order for, I would think for us to hire, because they don't work for the Board of Health, right? So, the witness for the Board of Health, we're hiring someone to go out there and witness the perk test, like you said. So, that person, I would think they'd have to be a soil evaluator.
Who's the person
In
that we're
case, I
using
don't
right
know.
now?
For,
McSweeney?
Colin
I
McSweeney,
can't
yes.
remember his first name. There's
Yes.
a bunch of them.
Yes.
So, okay. What are we paying Colin to do right now?
Witness perk test.
Okay, and as someone who witnesses a perk test, what do his qualifications have to be?
Well, he's, I'm pretty sure a soil
He's
evaluator.
a soil.
He's,
Oh, he
a,
is.
he's a soil
Yeah.
evaluator, and I don't know if he's an engineer or an RS. He's one of the
He's an
other.
RS,
I think he's an RS.
Yeah.
Is that we? Yeah, I think
Yeah.
he's an RS.
Yep.
That's an interesting question though. So, as a representative for the board, the approving authority, that we have to witness the perk test. But if contracting that out, I don't know.
And
We're not
Jim,
contracting it out.
Jim Donovan does some of them too, because
Yeah.
if
He does.
if it's a
If
mix,
Colin's
if
not
it's-
available,
or
one that his
if it's a
family's worked
McSweeney
on.
plan, I can't
He doesn't
have
work on
Colin
it.
do it, so I call Jim in to do it.
So there's a reason that we have Colin doing these,
So the other,
because of his certification. So the witnessing, I think I'm getting something mixed up there with the need for somebody to witness it. So does that mean I can go and witness it?
yes, you absolutely could. Yes, you could as a Board of Health member, 100% you could go tomorrow. That's what I'm telling you. Is that I can go, you can go, it's witnessed by the approving authority. Who's the approving authority? Right now, you and I are, with
Yeah.
the Board of Health.
Yeah.
So it could be witnessed by you, it could be witnessed by me, and he's our authorized agent.
Right.
Who is a
So,
witness.
but I will
Witness-
say,
witness.
anybody that witnesses a perk for the Board of Health, there's a form that they complete,
Mhm.
and you'd have to be, I think, a soil evaluator to complete the form, because it's all of the layers and
It is.
all that mumbo jumbo stuff.
Right.
That's a Form 11 that's done by the state, the soil evaluator, the official soil evaluator.
So
with
that
the
has
state.
to be a soil evaluator, so we
So
really
this
can't
is what the
send
form,
anybody.
this
And
is what the form looks like, that, Colin completes, or Jim, whomever.
With the pyramid, is it not the pyramid?
No,
This
that's
is-
for, and there's a couple pages, but,
But is this a state form?
no, this is
No.
a town form, yeah, that's the other part of it.
That's what I'm saying.
The
Is
state form is like 15 pages now.
No, the engineer does the state form,
Form
and
one.
then,
Condenses it on here?
but
and then
even
this is,
but even then, this could, in my opinion, be very well filled out. That he's just witnessing it again.
Yes.
This
Right.
isn't necessarily that the person witnessing it is responsible for filling this out. I'm not saying this is like
no,
normal
so
a lot of
I'm
times.
just saying, since I've been here,
Mhm.
whomever witnessed perks for us has always filled out a form. The form has varied. Some people want something more detailed, so I have like 3 or 4 various forms, and then I send that along with the Form 11 that the engineer does from when they did the perk. I send both of them to the outside
I
reviewer.
don't do enough of them to know kind of what the standard is in a lot of.
The Form 11 is, the Form 11 is
The
what
Form 11 is what the
is
engineers
what
do.
the engineered soil evaluator does.
So would
No, I know
Colin
that,
be
but
a
I'm saying
good
it's-
person for him to talk to?
I'm saying as far as no, I'm saying like as far as other towns' standard practice.
So that I don't know.
That
I don't know what
is
other
the
towns
person
do.
witnessing it typically filling out the same documentation that, essentially the same documentation that the person conducting the perk test is? Or are they
That
just
I don't
there,
know.
they witnessed it, maybe they
I can't
sign
speak to
off?
that. I
That's-
can only
that's-
tell you what
Who
it's
was that
been.
signed by?
That's the witnessing form.
Colin
right there.
has always done that. But
But Colin's the person that we're sending out to
witness.
witness. it.
yes,
And he's filling that report out.
right. And then,
But it's a Hanson form.
yeah, it's a
That's what I'm saying.
town
I don't
form.
think it's the same
This is
thing.
the
Oh,
DEP, this
That's
is
what
the
I'm saying.
DEP form that the engineers
The
use.
engineer, the soil.
That's
Right.
different.
Yeah, soil
So
evaluator.
I don't know, do other towns do it that way?
I don't
have
know.
no idea. I can't speak to that. I can only say since the day I started, some variant of that form has always been used.
And the person witnessing.
Whoever's
Does-
witnessing it, correct.
Yeah,
Right.
soil evaluation is done by the engineer.
That's who's doing it. That's the
Yeah.
person.
Yes,
conducting the
right,
perk
right,
test.
right,
Soil
right,
evaluation
right,
is
yes.
done by the engineer.
Yes.
Right.
And the health agent is the witness. You're always a witness. We're not performing, we're a witness.
Right. And when I think witness, I'm thinking, okay, I'm
Yeah.
here at 10:30 in the morning, I'm at this address, I'm here with Arlene Diaz, she's conducting the perk test, and this is the contractor, that's digging it, and,
Excavator, yeah.
and the weather is this, whatever, like, you're
Yeah.
there,
Right.
you're on site, you're there, you're witnessing it, you're not the scientist, you're not conducting the perk test, you know what I
Right, no,
mean?
no,
You're-
no, no.
You're there to,
Right.
you know, kind of like a notary more or less. You know, you're there,
Yeah.
this person is who they are, and they, you know, you're confirming the event that's taking place that day. That's the way I look at it when I read it.
That was
The way
never
it's
my
written,
understanding of it,
Yeah.
but
No.
my understanding was that it was to concur to what this says.
Right.
But I don't think.
But if you don't know,
Again, that's-
if
Yeah.
you don't know what it's
But again, do
supposed
other
to be,
towns do that? I don't know.
But if that were the case, the only reason I think that, if that were the case, then, and let's just say the town of Hanson, we had our health agent was going out doing it.
Mhm.
What's the point of them having a soil evaluator if we're gonna say, no, this is what it is?
Say that again?
Why don't they just, if we have a health agent that's a soil evaluator, and we're saying, going off the assumption that he's there to confirm what the soils are and confirm what that, you know, then
Yeah.
why are they even hiring a soil evaluator? Why don't they just come to the Board of Health, say, we wanna schedule a perk because you're gonna tell me what it is anyway?
Because that's liability.
right.
But if we're gonna,
We-
if we're there to dispute it and to disagree with
We're
it,
not to dispute it, to make sure that it
It's
falls
not-
within the guidelines.
yeah,
Since I can only speak to when I've been here, nothing's ever been disputed.
yeah. I'm,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, I'd be
I'm
interesting to
yeah,
see
yeah.
how other towns do it.
And I can tell
And
you, all the other towns,
I kind of think I'm
Yeah.
going to call around to see, because I have absolutely no idea. It was my assumption that that's how they all do
tell
it.
you in my emergency management group, I asked, and every town that, except for towns that are on their own septic, all of their health agents are soil evaluators.
Oh, I don't disagree that most health agents are soil evaluators. A lot of them are. Most of them are.
I just want to know if they do that form.
Yeah.
My question is
You have to
more,
ask.
yeah, my question is, as a witness,
Are they
Are
complete?
What's
you-
the expectation?
right, what is
Yeah.
really your job description as a witness? You know,
Right.
in that situation, what is your role? What are you supposed to
Right.
technically be doing, as far as Title V goes?
But I would
that
think to
don't
be
know.
able to concur with whatever that information is, you would have to know.
And I'm not really saying like what our past practice has been or what this town might do. This town might do it different. I'm saying as far as the regulation goes, like what is our role in this? What are we supposed to be doing?
Yeah, we definitely need to look into that, because that was, when you were hired, that was a condition of employment.
And a lot of towns have changed this, because Title V has changed dramatically.
I just
Yeah.
recently asked everybody.
I've been
and
asking
again,
also because of, if you notice,
I have that
what it was explained to me, that most of the evaluators that are out there now, that are health agents, their license numbers are in the low numbers. And a lot of the changes in the course and everything was taking place, they are more so engineers that are taking the course, and less and less health agents.
The other part of that too, that I think I brought up last time, that, so, you know, a perk test is typically scheduled a half day or a full day,
right,
right? So, to have,
it doesn't
Someone
take
else-
that long.
well, I mean, that's what's scheduled. Sometimes it does. Sometimes you're out 3 full days, especially if it's new construction. It can be legitimately 2 full days, 3 full days, you know.
Mhm.
So, to have someone out of the office for a full day is kind of a lot. That was one concern of mine, that I'd rather see them be doing other things. The other thing is, so what are we charging for a half day for a perk test fee?
200,
$200 for a half day. And for a full day, I'm assuming it's
400.
okay, so 400.
Right.
And so the applicant's paying this fee. This is aside from.
Not coming out of town
This is
to
aside
town,
from an
right.
application fee.
Right.
This is
Yes.
aside from a review fee.
Yes.
This is basically covering what we're paying, and probably in excess of what we're paying.
For the
probably
person to
for
be
the
out
person
there?
to witness it. Right?
Depends on how long it takes. It's $50 an hour.
So if they're out there all day, that's an all-day perk. We're still not losing. You know what I mean? If we collected 400 from the applicant, we're just kind of facilitating what's going on.
Most of them
We're
are
not-
half days. Very rarely do we get a full day.
Right. So
Yeah.
in a half day. But what I'm saying is we're not, you know, we're not losing money. This
No,
isn't
it's
at an
usually,
expense to us.
it's,
That's where I'm-
it's generally, Colin charges usually $50 a perk, because usually it's like an hour.
Right.
So we're still making money on it.
Yeah.
So
And
we're-
how much?
$50.
So they're paying 200.
They're paying
$200. It's generally $50.
$50 an hour.
$50 for the perk witness, and then $50 for the review of the plan when it comes in, so that's 400 total.
Right. So that's what I'm kind of saying. So say you schedule an all-day perk, you anticipate going out there all day. They're out there half day. We get billed a half day. We just charge $400. We're actually creating revenue by doing that, believe it or not, as opposed to, okay, we took $200 in and he's out of the office for 4 hours and he's getting behind in his other stuff. That was just, again, just for discussion, that was kind of something that I had brought up before. Just a thought. I'd rather see him focusing on everything else than worrying about going around chasing perk test holes. I'd rather see that just continue to be subbed out. I think it's, it's a good system. It's not costing us anything, and I bet if you actually broke it down, it sounds like we're probably actually bringing money in on it.
Yeah.
As crazy as that sounds, I mean, it doesn't
Another
sound
thing
like
is
it's an
the
expense
increased
for us.
workload. I mean, you've got the 3 developments going, hot and heavy right now. We've got Cushing Trails. They're going to put up another 4 or 5 buildings. Ritter started. There's another 25 buildings there. Egan's project has started. The amount of time.
And Colin's gonna be doing all of that.
It's already done.
That stuff's already done.
Yeah. Now they're pointing to install septic systems and the sewage distribution systems and everything. So the workload is just increased on this end of it.
Yeah, we're just talking perk test stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what we're talking.
Yeah.
We're just talking
We're talking
perk
perk.
tests. We've been subbing those out to either Colin or
Yeah.
Jim, whoever's,
No,
available.
Jim does the
to do one.
review, but he will do anything Colin can't do.
Correct.
If it's
Yeah.
a family member, because it's conflict.
Yep.
So for the most part, it's Colin.
Yeah.
We'll come back. I wanna find out about, the paperwork and who does that in other towns.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's an interesting
Yeah.
question, but I mean,
Because
going
we
off
have
what it-
always had a solar value. Didn't Donna take the class?
Mm-hmm.
So the question really that we have, I guess, if we wanted to get clarification on it, is does the person witnessing the perk test have documentation they need to fill out to
part
coincide
of their
with that?
witnessing that.
And right, they're witnessing, they're hanging around, they're observing what's going on. This guy's here, this person's here, this person's digging, or do they have basically paperwork that they're required by the state per Title V to fill out and also submit with what the
that.
engineer submits? So
Yeah.
I guess that's kind of our question.
Okay.
But again, as far as the workload goes, I think it, from the sounds of it, to me, it doesn't make sense to really lose sleep over having him out there. No, but I'm just saying, to have him out of the office, I know we've had issues where people come in, they're looking for someone and there's no one here. And we've gotten a complaint before about
That was
Gil
usually-
being out of the office, and now we're expecting him to possibly be out for a whole day doing a perk test, or a half day doing a perk test, when he's got.
And I think that was because it was not clear notification.
No, I understand,
Not
and
that.
there's other barriers
Right.
to it, I agree. But I'm just saying, as far as, I just don't think that it's something that we need him to be focused on. I think it's been working well. I don't think we've had any problems with having Colin do them or having Jim do them. I don't think we've had like complaints, we haven't had any issues like that. It's really just, we've circled
No.
back to it because it was something that when Mr. Amato took the job, that he said, yeah, I agree, I'll get whatever certifications are needed for me to perform my job duties.
And what about, okay.
So
And that has, but that
that's
hasn't
really,
happened.
that's really the reason that we're coming back to it. It's not necessarily that we have a problem with how things are going.
No.
We have complaints how things are going, and we don't have an issue financially with how things are going. So it's really just we're circling back to it because of what the job description was and his initial hiring.
And what this
I
job
think-
description still is.
And I think we need to just one way or another put that to bed. So I don't know if maybe next meeting or whatever, we want to revisit it, if we want to get some questions in the meantime, but
Definitely.
we keep revisiting it, and I think it's something we either need to say, hey, look, this is what we want, or, okay, I understand that you agreed, you're gonna do everything that you need for certifications to perform the job duty. However, this really isn't required for him to do this job duty, like we found out. So I think we just need to pick a road to go down, whether we're gonna continue to just sub it out, or we want to bring it back in-house, and we gotta take the position that we want Gil to get the soil evaluator license, if he needs it. But what I'm saying is, I don't know that he needs it. I don't think he does.
You've said that before, that you
Right.
didn't think you did.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think we just gotta kind of just narrow this down to what the issue is, and let's do something to resolve it, so we don't just keep circling back to it, that's all. But I personally think the way it's been going, it seems like it's it's been working out fine. We haven't had complaints. I mean, we haven't got any complaints from the people witnessing them working for us. We haven't got any from engineers.
We've been
and-
working with them for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been working well, that I have no problem with just continuing that, and I'd like to see him focus on everything else. The food inspections, like, he had taken back on after COVID and everything, and with some of the housing complaints and the confidential stuff like he was talking about earlier that I know that are going on as well. I'd like to see him focusing on that stuff than worrying about being out of the office on a site for 4 hours to watch water drain into a hole in the ground.
Yeah.
That's
And
just my opinion,
And
but-
I know I've gone with Vinny and done, we've never spent 4 hours anywhere to and fro.
Sometimes you do.
Yeah, well, maybe I was
A lot-
lucky the
a lot
times
of-
I went with him.
So a lot of times you'll spend a lot of time on new construction, because on a repair, you have the option to do a sieve analysis. New construction, you can't.
Right,
So if you have a real long perk rate, you're gonna be there for a while,
yep.
because that, you have to wait for the
We have
process to
wait.
happen.
Right,
With a repair, they'll go, we're not staying here all day. They'll take a sieve analysis, deed restriction, and they're out of there, you know? I mean,
Yeah.
that's really
Yep.
the, you know, all those sieve analysis that you see, that's essentially what they'd be doing most of the time. You know, other than, yeah, you got high groundwater and they physically couldn't perk it, but a lot of times they'll just take a sieve analysis and be on their way,
right.
you know?
So
But that's
again,
just
you're
my
still not
opinion.
spending the whole day.
I'd like to
Doing
see it
that.
just keep rolling the way it's rolling. It seems like it's like I said, it's working well, and it's not costing us money. It's actually probably bringing money in. So, but if you want to get clarification on some of that stuff as to
I
what
do.
what the role from some of these other agents or whoever they are,
Well, it's taken
representatives
care of.
that are witnessing protests, what their function is and what they're actually doing, and we can talk about it more. It's fine.
Okay. So, I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, oh.
No.
Looks like you have paper you're ready to hand over.
Nope. There's one plan.
Oh, that's the one we talked about earlier.
Is that it?
409?
409.
Is that it for the health agent review that we kind of?
No, I was trying to think some of the other topics that we went over that I wanted to get updates on.
I know one of the things was that we had asked him to do some sort of like, you know, I forget what we called it.
I just wrote myself some notes.
The classes that you did. It was just kind of like,
There were 2 or 3 different things, areas that we said you needed.
yeah, it
improvement.
wasn't anything specific, but we wanted to try to see, you know, try to do some improvement more, and
Right.
that's it seems like he's
And that
fulfilled
was,
that.
I don't know if that was report writing too and presentation. I think I want to say those were 2 of the things, presentation, but I wrote myself a couple of notes here. Part of it is education, so we're not putting anything out to the public in terms of, we've had West Nile mosquitoes in all the towns around us.
I did post something on that.
She did, she posted something, but we could be doing more in terms of getting the information out to people without saying, don't go here and don't go there because they have positive mosquitoes. In terms of just posting stuff on the website, sending stuff over to cable, which I think you can send mass resources that they put out, reminding people that now's the time that you have to be careful with mosquitoes or ticks. We have done no education at all on anything in the past year that I know of.
That reminds me, there's a big box in the office of all the stuff I ordered you for Hanson Day.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Thank
just
you.
don't forget it. I never
right.
opened it because I
I'm
think
gonna
if I
write it
open it,
here.
everything's just gonna come flying out of it.
All right.
They,
And yeah,
they
and
pack
I
it really well.
wanted more information out here. If people came in the building, they would be able to get it. But we've done no education of any kind that I can see. The articles for town meeting, how did that get all kind of screwed up? In that, one of the things I do know is there was an erroneous number that was in what we put in for the budget for July 1st. There was a number there that was $143,000 that shouldn't have been that amount. It should have been like $50,000 or $60,000 less than that. I see that number keeps getting carried over and it's not been corrected. And that was a
Yeah.
number that you provided to the town administrator, and I don't know how that happened. That's a big number to be sort of wrong. I don't know where it came from, but it needs to be corrected, because in our records now, it still says the 143,000, when that's not what we should have asked for.
No, that's been corrected.
The last
That's
printout I
corrected.
got, unless I need to get an update, it said 143,000, because I circled it last meeting.
The town accountant corrected that. Corrected that
In the
because-
system, maybe, I don't know, I'll have to look at it. I'll
Yeah,
have to
that
look
was
at
corrected.
it.
That
That's,
was, and that number was adjusted. Now, that's like the, when we had to do the two articles, someone had changed the numbers. It wasn't neither myself, apparently the finance committee, or somebody, changed the numbers in the budget. And that's why the town accountant gets involved.
143,000?
I'm not sure. It might have been me, I'm not sure.
No, that number, they
No.
told me that number came from you. So the town accountant was telling you that you needed to add another $50,000 to get that to that
Yeah.
number, but that number was an erroneous number. It was actually
Yes.
the 15,000 that we needed and not
Yes.
50.
I will say
I met
he-
with Eric.
And I
Yes.
went down,
met
because
with
he had
Eric.
had a question, hold on,
Yep.
Gil had a question, and I went down, because I knew Eric was here, and I said, Eric, what exactly does it need to say? And he said 50,000 for this, and 50,000 for this.
But
So that was an
he built
accurate
it,
number.
But he built it on an erroneous number.
That I can't speak to,
Oh,
but I do
yeah.
know it was
Yeah.
50, it was a total of
Yeah.
$100,000.
The information that they were given was that we were gonna need a certain amount of money to get us through the whole year. The number that was submitted was 143, and it really should have been more like 100,
116.
116. And
Yeah.
so, built on that, he then suggested to you that you needed to, in order to clear that gap, you needed $50,000. But the
Right.
number was wrong, so you didn't really need the $50,000.
So he had reviewed what was expended and stuff. When I met with him that day, he reviewed what was expended and what was needed. The requested number wasn't that far off. And that's when he decided that, okay, we're gonna take the $55,000 from the trash compactors, we're gonna split it up. You're gonna put 15,000
Yeah, and I'm sure that was
here.
after I talked to him, but
No,
the 143, I don't know where that number
That's-
came from.
It could have been a calculation, I'm not sure. But,
So that's why we
and
didn't need the 50 there,
it was off.
shouldn't have asked for it.
Well, he would have caught it anyhow because we were talking about it.
I don't know that he would have caught it.
Because we sat down and talked about it. Because someone, not being honest with you, I didn't realize at some point in time that disposal budget was decreased $50,000. I didn't decrease it $50,000. Who decreased it?
I
No
don't
one-
know that it was,
you know?
I don't know. I can't tell you about that
Yeah.
in terms of
And
that.
same way with that.
That I don't know.
They decreased that. They decreased the other line $50,000.
I'm
So-
gonna make a suggestion, that when it comes to the town warrant articles, this time, we had to backdoor a couple of them because they weren't done on time. We specifically asked in the August meeting about the town, and I was surprised that there were no money ones. You should have been on top of that, because that's your responsibility. So that, in August, we should have discussed it, and we should have been planning for October, instead of running around 2 months later and getting it in late, and with the wrong information. So that concerns me. We just need to be
That concerned me
ahead of
too.
that.
That
We need
concerned
to be
me
ahead
too.
of
Who did what?
Yeah, so
Concerned me too.
we'll try to do better, and we'll be more proactive
Right.
on for the Maytown meeting coming
Oh,
up.
absolutely.
Yeah, so,
Oh, yeah, 'cause October's right around the corner, but,
yeah.
yeah,
That concerns me. Who adjusted those budget numbers?
I have no idea about that.
So,
No idea in terms of the $50,000 for waste management. There's no way we would have asked for a decrease
no,
in
we
that
didn't.
line. So I don't know.
Like I said, I don't know. We talked, Eric and
I
I
have to
talked.
go
with
back
him.
and look at the town, that town report is the most recent one that's out there, right?
No, I think it's 2 years old or something, isn't it?
Oh, I don't know.
The what?
Well, we got the articles all finalized, we're good for that, right? So
For now, but if they had solidly said, no, you can't get these articles in, we're not gonna let you slide them in after the date.
Yeah,
we would
I
approve.
agree. Yeah, we would have been waiting till May. No, I agree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so to me, that's important that that stuff be on time
Yep.
and done when it should be, so that if we found that there were errors, we can correct them. We could always go back in and change the number on an article, but you can't put in an article.
I think he did submit them by the deadline.
They were
No,
submitted.
they were after the deadline. Because our meeting was the day after the deadline. Our August 8th meeting was beyond the
They were-
deadline.
they were
He had
submitted.
submitted them, but we hadn't actually
Right.
approved them.
They were stamped in by the,
in.
the
Before?
town
Yeah,
administrator's
he
office
had
on the
submitted
Monday
them.
prior to the meeting, just to make
Okay.
sure that they were in on time.
On time.
So the logistics of the nitty gritty of each
Was all
article
backwards, yeah.
was not,
But
firmed up.
you're saying a placeholder.
Correct,
Right.
yes, was
All right.
placed,
Yeah,
yes.
it was, yeah, it was submitted before that meeting that we had.
Yes.
And then we saw them, and then we kinda had some questions and stuff, and they had to be
Yeah.
reworked. But
Right.
they were.
They had to be reworked.
Yeah, but, no, I agree, we're just trying to do better moving forward, that's all.
Yep.
Well, I think
Be
everybody got an
correct.
email
Yeah.
after it was, I think you all got an email about it was submitted on time.
Yep.
The town accountant did send that out to you.
Oh, I don't remember
Yeah,
seeing anything.
Well, I did see one, and it was on the amounts, and that's how, that night, I think I got it. Yeah, maybe it was that Monday or something, or the Friday before or something.
Yeah.
But it was on those amounts, those original, the 50,000 they took. They took the two of them and broke them down because it was an email about how it was originally lumped in as one, but then they were breaking it down into the two, and that's how we had the 50.
And they were taking the 55
Right,
from
right,
that
right.
other article
Yeah.
from the,
I'll have to look, because I don't know that I saw that. 'Cause this is the first I heard about the contractor money. Contractor money was tonight. I don't remember seeing that.
yeah.
All right, so we'll move
All right.
on. We got one septic
Yes.
plan. We got 409 Golden Drive.
Oh, and then,
And this was one of those. This was one of those properties that was an issue that there's a repair
yes,
for that
that,
property.
it
Right,
should
that's
be
the
two,
one.
right? Isn't there two?
No, it's just one of them.
The one that failed, because the other one was conditional
The other
too,
one?
wasn't it?
Oh, I can look at this one, Eileen.
One was a pass, one was a conditional
One was a-
pass.
So
but
the
then
one, the past one was the one that went to the art studio.
So this
The
was
smaller,
409 Golden Drive.
yeah.
Repair for a septic system.
Where are the variances?
So this is for 409 Golden Drive. They're looking for a reduction requested under maximum feasibility compliance, and it's to allow the proposed soil absorption system to be 10 feet from the cellar wall instead of 20 feet as required. Other than that, it looks as if the system is all in compliance. So they're looking for a 10-foot setback on the leaching field from their own foundation as opposed to the 20-foot as required by Title V.
Okay, and you don't have any other, and this is because they have to do it, I'm assuming.
Yeah, well, they can't
have
go
to
any,
be.
they can't go any closer to the
Further.
property line. They're meeting, so they're respectful of the property line for the abutter, and they're encroaching on the 10-foot setback, the 20-foot setback on their own foundation.
On their own, okay.
So they're looking for relief from their own foundation.
Okay, I will make a motion that we accept the plan for 409 Golden Drive with the one variance to be SAS down to 10 feet instead of the 20 that's required.
Okay, I'll second that motion to approve the plan. All in favor? Aye. Okay.
So this is the one that had the two septic systems on it?
Yes.
Right.
They had to,
Yep.
remove the second septic system,
So
so.
there's one pit that they are removing, and then
This must be to the
that's another.
the addition? Let me
This should.
see. I think this is one that had a.
Yeah, this had
I would've
this is
thought-
an extra system,
It does.
which was used, and that's
For a
being
room.
removed. It's being removed.
The extra one?
The extra system
Yeah,
is
it's all being
removed
it's
because
all being combined to one new field. They're
Oh,
replacing.
okay.
So they're removing the existing tank,
Yes.
pump it clean. They're going to remove the tank, replace the tank, new D-box, one field for the
And that's-
entire structure. There's not
So,
going to be any.
the first one
second
might have been a
system.
cesspool that had already existed, and this might have been,
Now, this had an actual little leaching field they had put in.
but was that added later to this building? Do you know what I mean? Like, did they already have a cesspool here?
They had a
When they
leaching
added on
field.
the addition, they had to put
They
that
might have.
for a
They might have
bathroom.
added that. They might have added that.
Yeah.
That leaching pit back there. But regardless, it's on the.
All
plan.
of that's coming out.
It's all being removed.
It's all
It's
going
going to
to
be one
one.
tank, one D-box,
Yeah.
one field.
All right,
So.
and this is sort of the same situation they were selling the property.
This is the property that, did they already sell it?
It's been sold, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was sold
Yeah.
in the middle of it.
They were in the middle of it, they were
Yeah.
something about somebody coming from California and then
Yes,
going somewhere.
That's another one, thing to the VA about, they could do the system, so.
I'll take that plan.
Yeah.
Get those two plans. I gotta sign down here on the very bottom right. Board of Health.
Yep.
Yep. Today's the 29th.
Thank you. All right, so that's it for new business, old unfinished business, transfer station.
The transfer station, I haven't met with any of the committee people. Is there anything going on up there, Gil, that you're aware of?
As far as the committee or?
No, not the committee,
the
just
transfer
the
station?
transfer station in general.
Anything
Well, yeah,
you know about.
I got a couple of things I gotta talk about on the transfer station.
Okay, well, we'll wait then. Yeah, I will reach out to the people that are on the transfer station committee. But I don't have anything
Okay.
other than that.
Okay, so you'll reach out.
I will reach out to the committee.
You'll reach out to them and just see about scheduling, so for the
Yep.
next meeting, see if you can make it and everything.
Yes.
And then on that follow-up, Gil, was maintenance on the compactors. I know we revisited a few times.
Yes, exactly, I was gonna do that, so my,
Have you ever thought?
Yeah, just do it now if you want.
Yeah, I
Just so
reached
we can
out
go
again,
over
to this Jerry Dugan and his boss, again, that, it needs to be repaired as soon as possible. Please contact me as soon as you can, as far as when it can be done. I sent that email out a little while after I spoke to you. I left a message on, Adriel Cavalis, who is his immediate supervisor, which he's the general manager of Harvey, and left him a message and didn't forward an email to him yet. Left a message, give me a call as soon as he can, so this situation can be corrected.
So is this ongoing maintenance issues with them? We don't
This is
have a
the
regular
thing about
maintenance plan?
excuse me. This
So-
was on the compactor pressure gauge.
Yes, yes,
and
yep. Oh, yeah.
And so, looking over, it's the one that's on the cardboard compactor, and, Chris feels he's not be able to compact, he doesn't know the pressure, but you can always tell,
I thought it was
how
two of
it's
them. And he was saying they were going in the weight because
Right.
the valves.
So what had happened
Not the
was
valves, but
we had a couple of dumpsters go out very light from what Teresa said we're used to
Yes.
as far as the weight. She sees all the slips and everything. And when Chris was asked about it as to why we're sending out light dumpsters, I believe at one of our meetings,
Right.
that he said, oh, well, it's hard to tell because the pressure gauges don't work. So since then, it's been, okay, so if this is an issue that's costing the town money because we're sending out light
Right,
dumpsters,
right.
we need to get it addressed. So whoever needs to be spoken to get that fixed, so this doesn't happen again, we need to do so.
So did we talk to them and have they fixed it?
no, I emailed again. I had emailed them August 9th to the general manager, he's head of sales or something, and he hadn't responded to it. So I emailed the regional manager, I want to say Waste Connection manager. Today, I left a message for the previous person I spoke to, and left a message, voicemail for Andrea, who should return my call almost immediately. It's something stupid.
Usually if we have issues, isn't there somebody that we call that usually comes out right away? Or is that only
Apparently-
to see if it's down?
Well, apparently, the person didn't come out. Supposedly it was scheduled, the person didn't come out. And that's how we got involved in it, because,
I mean, we spend $875 a month to pay for those compactors, not to mention the
And so there
fees
should be.
going out, the fees that for hauling and everything for,
Have you gotten more
Going
slips
out
in to
late.
know if the weight's changed?
no, I haven't gotten that big bill in.
kind of
Okay.
difficult to tell too, so.
I mean,
Well,
basically, when-
no, if
given
there's a trash, slip and it's, 5 tons or 6 tons, like that's light. It could be 12 or to 14.
Right, and so you'll notice that.
Yeah.
I mean, basically what happened is, one of our employees, the attendant up at the station, said that I can't perform my job correctly. because the equipment's not maintained correctly. That they don't have the ability to tell that
Right.
it's full, so it's in turn costing us money.
Right,
So we
right,
need it,
yes.
we need it addressed.
But
I mean, that's it.
I guess my question is, was that reported? But even if it had been reported, you're not having any more luck than that person might have had, getting
Well-
them to come up and fix it.
I haven't got the actual time when Chris actually called for it. I'm trying to.
Did he
trying to
call?
get that. Yes, supposedly he called,
Oh, okay.
and so.
I would tell
I
him to
did.
send an email and CC you on it,
Yep.
CC Teresa on it, or if you're gonna send the email, I would send the email to whoever it's gonna be.
Yep.
I would include any point of contact
Everybody.
that you have for that company, I would include every single one of them on it.
Yeah.
And I would say, explain the situation, that you've tried reaching out to
The
who
monthly
you've tried
fee
to
that we
reach
pay
out.
is maintenance, part of
It
it is
hasn't been
maintenance.
addressed. And if you want, CC me on it and put Teresa on it as well. So that way, there's a paper trail, the fact that we've been trying to get this resolved. That just contacting one person or making a phone call and no one answers and they see a number that they don't even recognize and they're not gonna answer. You know, an email, send it to customer service for that company, send it to the point of contact you have or 2 points of contact that you have, that send it to all three of them. And explain the situation that, you know, who should you be contacting for this because you're not getting any replies.
Right,
You
and it's
know?
costing us
So-
money.
Those are the email that went out, and these are the calls I made today, so.
So this is to who?
That's Adriel and Jerry Dugan again.
Jerry Dugan is the one that signed our contract.
Yeah, he's been there around forever.
They've been,
And he hasn't got back to you, Jerry?
no, not as of this one here. So I contacted Adriel, Cavallo, I think I just pronounced it.
Okay. Yeah, I would, again, like I said, I would just make sure you include all them on the email. Do we have anything else up the transfer station for old
So-
unfinished business?
Let's move on, I guess.
All right, so the public health nurse job description posting, I know last meeting we had talked about, hiring the town nurse from Whitman,
Mm-hmm.
just kinda like
Temporary.
temporary per diem kinda until we could finalize a posting and get that
Right.
up and get someone actually officially hired.
Right.
And was that just strictly to do Maven or was that just acting?
That was to do just Maven, because we've
Just
done.
Maven.
Have you
Okay.
done anything with Maven?
No.
You've not attempted to get in, you've not
I've got,
attempted.
I looked at it, but
But have you attempted to print the report or find the report, the exact report that I'm talking about? I'm not talking about COVID, I'm not talking about anything else. The communicable
I've
disease
spoken to Scott
reports.
Trophy about it, and, you know, for print that stuff.
Were you
So-
able to print a report?
No, I have not printed a report yet myself, okay?
Have you attempted?
We attempted, no, I've attempted, since we discussed hiring the
But that-
nurse out of Whitman to assist, because I will learn as she explains to me what takes place.
I'm sorry.
I know, but-
It is your job and it's up to you to provide that report. We wanted to hire somebody so that that wouldn't be another responsibility. That is something that you need to know. Because we are not getting the information that we need to know what's happening in this town with communicable diseases. And you saying,
Yep.
no, you're waiting for somebody else
No.
isn't acceptable. You can't wait for someone else to teach you. Scott
Well,
will tell you
I understand that.
exactly how to do it. He'll walk you through it
I
on the
understand that.
phone.
I was a little confused at how we left off last meeting too, and I had spoke to Gil just as acting chair, and I don't think I really gave him good direction on this, but I was a little confused at last meeting that, I know we decided to hire the Whitman nurse to
Which
handle
I
that,
reached
right?
out to her and I haven't heard back from her.
Okay,
So that's
okay.
not a
And I
a given.
know we had talked about, we were gonna ask her if she would
Yes.
do it. But I
Yes.
think we were gonna just make sure that we weren't gonna get ourselves into trouble with doing that. That, can we do that as just like a vendor kind of thing, kind of similar to how we're doing the soil testing?
We should
We're
be able to.
witnessing?
Yeah, yes.
We can do that
Yes.
without like
Right.
actually,
And I think I talked to somebody about
Gina
that.
can set he or she up as a vendor.
As a
and-
vendor.
And they get a
1099.
They'll get a 1099 at the
so
end
we
of
can
the
use
year.
them without having to go through a whole formal of like hiring
Right.
process?
Yes.
Right.
We
Yeah.
could use that person until we hire somebody to do everything. Right now, the key thing that has to be done is that report. It has been neglected for a huge amount of time.
Now, is the woman that's doing, is she the town nurse for Whitman? or is
She's
she just
Whitman's
doing-
public health nurse.
So
She only
she's
works
what?
part-time for them.
I mean,
So she does it for that town, yes.
So is that something that, can we hire her as a public health nurse on a, not just to do Maven, but can we do that, like as a whole, just as a
She
temporary?
has other jobs that
Yeah,
she does.
yeah.
Because she was willing to help us out in the summer because one of her jobs she wasn't doing during the summer.
Yeah.
So I don't know if in September that changes and what her other job was. If she can add us on top of
Yeah.
the 2 other jobs she already has. But this report not being done, we have no idea what is going on in this town and whether or not people are, what diseases are out there. Are they being followed up? Are people being reached out to? Because it's been absolutely neglected. And it just continues every month.
And some of these
When-
diseases, no, I won't get into,
You don't even get into that.
you know, so.
No,
I'm frustrated because it's easy enough. The guy Scott will walk him through how to get that report. Scott is really good. He's knowledgeable. He knows his stuff. It is not that hard.
Yeah.
In the meantime, while we're waiting to do whatever it is we're going to do,
Yeah.
somebody has to provide us with that report.
Yeah.
And it's his job.
So how do we want to approach reaching out to the nurse in Whitman?
I'll try calling her again.
You want to do that? Or
I'll try
do-
calling her again, or Teresa.
Do we have does she have like a town email or anything with Whitman? Do we know?
She has a town office phone number and I think a cell phone.
I'm just
number.
wondering if like.
I don't know if she has a.
I'm just wondering if we
Email.
can more formally reach out, you know, maybe Teresa could send her an email, or we could reach out, you know.
Would you want to do that? Do you want to use her town email to offer her a job?
Well, I mean, to
Imagine
see if
she's
she,
got
to
a
see
cell
if she,
phone number.
No, no,
Call
I'm
her.
saying to see if she'd be interested.
Yes,
in-
I will email her.
You can email or you can call her. If you don't have her information,
I'd rather have
But
it in
but it's
writing.
not, it's
I like
not a
getting
replacement
things.
job, it's just really,
Right.
we're asking if she'd be interested in helping us out in the interim.
Yes.
And it potentially turning into a permanent thing, you know, we're working
Yeah.
on, you know, I'm just saying, we're
Yeah.
working on creating a posting for it, right?
Right. Yes, we are. But we need that report to be done. I would not want to come back next month and we don't have a report. Because there's just so many different things that can be happening.
So,
And
so,
it just has fallen by the wayside
so we're
for
good
too long.
with, we're good with doing that if.
Yes.
And
yes.
that's just for Maven, or is that?
No.
Can we do that for the position? As a
Right now,
temporary-
Maven is a priority for me.
No, I understand that, but I'm just,
So-
I'm asking, I don't know.
No. I would say the position, we need to look at sort of what we have now
Yep.
and what's here and what we think are the important things that need to be done with the minimum amount of time that we have. It would really be nice if we had somebody that could come in and do blood pressures. It would be nice if somebody could coordinate different people coming in and providing information. But this person's not gonna have enough time to do that with a limited budget.
So I'm reaching out to her to
Yes.
see if on a temporary basis she can run the communicable
Right.
disease report
Yes,
through Maven.
for Maven, absolutely.
Okay, just wanna make sure.
Absolutely. So we need to look at what we think are priorities, in terms of, for us, like we know, you don't have a copy of the job description for the, I
Yeah,
probably
I
asked
do.
you this like 3 meetings in a row.
I do, I do, hold on.
So that we can look
This
at,
was one from Lexington that you
that's,
found.
I probably got 2 from Lexington that I gave you, there's probably 2. And they might say
But
similar
this is
or the
I'm
same.
assuming this is a full-time position.
That was probably a full-time, yeah, you
Yes,
look at the, you look at
$70,000 a year.
yeah, we can't afford that. We can't afford that. They have a director and they probably have 2 or 3 public nurses, public health nurses, but they're a big town. So we need to, I guess we just need to prioritize what we want the nurse to do. And part of it eventually will be Maven, but it has been so long since this report is done, has been done. And it's just absolutely ridiculous.
I mean, you're more experienced in this stuff than I am, Eileen. I mean,
And this is not a report, Kevin, that's gonna take a long time. It's
Yeah.
literally a matter of logging into the computer, clicking, printing it out.
Mhm.
Doesn't take a day, doesn't take an hour. You might spend 5 minutes doing this. It's just a matter of learning the process. Thank you. And you, oh, okay. So this is ours. So if you wanna, I don't know if you wanna take the time to take this and look at this and see what sort of we need to do or what's in here that we need to do. Because we don't have any programs and services to promote wellness or prevent disease. We haven't done any of that. We don't have an annual health fair, a science fair. We don't do clinics. I mean, that's normally what a public health nurse would do. We don't do any of that. We don't have any money to do it. And that's you see the number one thing. Number two.
Yeah, so
Is Maven.
we're kind of looking at Maven,
Yep.
and then develop programs, right? Community health effort. I mean, that was
You
kind of
also have to remember, you only have $5,600 budget.
no,
We know
right.
that,
I'm just
we
saying
know
as
that.
far as really, it's so we're looking at Maven, and then we're kind of looking at supplemental stuff that we could.
Right, so this is a question mark because we might not have enough plan. If we had more money and we had a full-time nurse,
Sure.
well then we would want the nurse to do that. But Maven is number one.
I mean,
Um,
interpret and apply various public health laws and regulations. I'm
Yes.
just kind of seeing that as like
That's a given.
a second opinion, kind of when we have questions that we can reach out to
Right.
the person and ask.
And I would say that overseas camp inspections is not something we're gonna have our public health nurse do. So that would be a no. So
Now,
there's pieces of this that we,
this one here updates Massachusetts immunization registry, which requires entry of, it was 7.
we're not gonna have anybody do that because we're not providing any immunizations. We don't do immunization clinics. And if we had,
We did for COVID.
we did, but somebody else was the provider. We weren't the
And
provider.
this one's a
updated
key.
it.
This one's
Huh?
a key point.
I was updating it.
Yeah.
Updating the COVID? Oh, I did that too, but I did that as a volunteer basis in the computer. But we are not, with this, what happened in the past is, we would tell the state we needed so many shots of flu. Then we needed to go into their registry, you have to have a refrigerator, you have to maintain the temperature, somebody has to check the temperature twice a day. You give it, and then you send all of that, you put it in the registry. It's much more complicated. We had the pharmacy next door bring their stuff over and give the shots. They do all that work.
I'm telling you right now, I entered things into the Massachusetts Immunization Registry.
For COVID.
COVID, yes.
Yes, I did too.
Okay.
When I did clinics.
Okay.
You had a system where you went right in. We actually had appointments.
No, we had the COVID software,
Mhm.
but then also I would have to go into the registry for anybody's,
You
with
did,
anybody's
because
vaccines.
what then happened is they took that information and they sent it out to everybody's physicians. So it became part of your medical record.
Yeah.
So it is part of the immunization record, but for us, we're not gonna be receiving shipments, having a refrigerator, checking the temperatures twice a day.
Right.
Documenting anything and sending it back to the state. We have a pharmacy next door, Osco come over and they do all of that, they just offer
Right.
to do it on site. No, so we're not gonna do any of that. We don't have the capacity to do any of that.
So I mean, we're really looking. What we're looking for is we're looking for someone to handle Maven for us. We're looking
Yep.
for someone to interpret and apply various public health laws, regulations,
Regulations.
stuff like that. We might have questions. They're going to give us, feedback on things that are changing, that kind of stuff. Keep us kind of up to date
Yep.
a little more.
Yep.
And then, I mean, obviously perform similar related work. That's just kind of
Right.
like a general statement there, just to kind of cover some additional stuff. But
So we don't do any billings, we don't do any.
is trained in and familiar with what's that say?
Which one?
NIMS 700.
NIM 700,
I don't know
that's
what those
all, my brain is going, this is all emergency management.
Okay, see, I didn't know what that stuff was, but that's what I
NIMS.
read. Is familiar with emergency dispensing site, emergency preparedness
Yes.
planning exercise drills.
Yes.
I mean,
So the two go together, sort of the MRC and the NIMS training, because if you became a member of the MRC,
Mhm.
you get the NIMS training. And the NIMS training, and people can go online.
yeah.
But
But I mean, with a small budget, I mean, I think like these kind of basic things
the
covered
basic
that we
things,
did-
the basic
that
things.
we really can't include, even if we wanted to, some of these other functions that you know, I think just kind of the core stuff we'd have to be looking for someone to do.
I would love for the first one, for us to be able to do that, but we might not have the time to do that. There's something else, so I guess, monitors state communicable disease through Maven, maintains a variety of files, because that person then would have to, if there was somebody that they had to follow up on, they would have to maintain the files for that. So
Sure.
that's minimum.
Yeah.
It would be really nice if we could develop programs, but I don't know that we're gonna have the time to do that unless it's a matter of getting a lot of like Blake Dimmis come in and do the TikTok and stuff like that. And I don't know that this person would have time to do any
But I
of
mean,
that.
we can put it on there as far as.
Oh, yeah,
you know,
but I mean, our priorities, knowing what our priorities
Yeah,
are. in
yeah. I mean,
terms of-
that would be low on the priority, but we'd like to include it if the funding's there, that we
Right.
can do it.
Right,
Um,
but we would, minimum, we would want somebody to do this stuff.
Yeah, so you have like these 6 items right here, right? This is kind of what you're looking at.
Yep.
One if funding will allow,
Yes,
that one there,
yep,
the third one.
yes,
And then I think it was down here, obviously interpret in the 5 areas.
yep,
And then you said these two
these
were kind
two,
of together.
those two would go together.
And then this is just kind of,
Yep, yes,
so I mean, I'm fine with that if we want to just finalize that on like, on a posting, just so we
Mhm.
can kind of
and so we can
make
get
some
it
progress
posted
on this and get it
Yep.
done, you know? So I agree, we've talked about it for like
forever.
forever, and never really got anywhere with it, so.
I'll be retired a third time by the time we
So-
get public health nurse. So, yeah, so when do we wanna post it? Or how soon can we post it?
Well, did you guys scratch that up?
Well, we didn't take anything out, we're just saying that our priorities. So it's not that we're taking anything out of this, we're just saying if we have somebody come in, we're gonna say to them, these are our priorities, this is what we want you to work on. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So we don't wanna take anything out, we didn't even get to the second page, but I don't think we have to.
Well, status, contract at 3 to 5 hours per week
Yes,
and $29 to $35 an hour.
yes, that's the same.
Okay. And, obviously posted would change.
I would hope we're gonna be a little late. Only 3 years.
Yeah, right. I'll wait till the 14th and then I'll just white out the
And then just
zero.
write out and make it a 3.
Yeah.
I don't even know when the 14th is. It's a Thursday.
Yeah. So,
Not that that makes a difference, huh? Please. Yeah, it is. So we can get this moving. I will reach out to Kim again, and you'll reach out to her too. You'll
Mhm.
send her an email
mhm.
and say that we, until we can get somebody hired, because this process is gonna be 2 weeks of posting, see if anybody answers, then bring people in for interviews, so you're looking at happy 2 months.
Is that, the pay, is that,
That's it. She gets $30 an hour.
so that's in
That's
the range?
mid-range.
Okay.
That's mid-range. Yeah, she said their nurses get $30 an hour.
Okay.
And then I can look and see if there's anything on here. So I like the way this is clear.
Mhm.
So there's nothing you want taken off, so the only thing that needs to change is the posting.
I mean, I
date.
think it kind of covers everything.
It
and I don't-
does.
And I don't
It
think it's
does.
an issue that it covers more than we want.
No.
You know,
No, and that's why I wouldn't take anything out.
Just looking at the calendar.
We don't have any,
yeah, I mean,
A lot of the
on the
stuff we don't
posting,
provide.
it says that, you know, the list below is intended for illustration as to
Right.
various type of work that may be performed. I mean, it doesn't
Yes.
say that we're gonna.
You're gonna do
expect-
all of it.
We're gonna expect them to do it all, but it's.
No.
It's.
All right, so the only thing that needs to be updated is the post date.
Yes.
I think we, as the Board of Health, can post it. The TA's office doesn't need to post
No.
it.
Where would you normally post it?
That's what I was just gonna say. I can see if there's an RN.
You can, Hanson Express, there's a ton of nurses in
Yeah,
town.
I can
There's
do that. I can do
a
the
ton
Living
of
Hanson
nurses
Express.
in town.
I have to do a public notice in there too.
Right.
for a tattoo place for the next meeting.
Okay.
So I
You can do it there, because I'm telling you, there are a ton of nurses.
I mean, we don't necessarily have to put this up there, but we could put something in there
Yeah, yeah.
that, you know, with. you know,
I'll
on the
put it
website or
online and
something,
say
And
job
it would
description
also
available
go on the
online.
list of things that the town has listed as open jobs.
yeah. Right.
I don't even know what's on there now.
Yes, I'll give a copy to downstairs.
Them, but yeah,
Yeah.
it can go to the Express, and I'm trying to think, is there any place else?
I think-
Nurses Association, but I don't know if they take job listings.
There are a million nurses. Of my kids' friends, I swear, like 90% of the
Hanson.
mothers are nurses.
The nurses,
I
yeah.
It's
think a
amazing
good
to me
start is
how many
to just
nurses.
kind of try to, not keep it in-house, but, you know,
Local.
the job that we're looking
yeah,
for
oh,
someone
yeah,
3 to
yeah.
5 hours, I think
Oh,
to have
yeah.
someone locally, I
And
think.
the likelihood is we're gonna get somebody who's retired, who just wants to work a couple hours a week,
Or somebody with kids in school.
possibly,
Yeah,
but those kids get sick and they can work from home, it's no big deal.
yeah.
But yeah, no, it's probably gonna be somebody who's retired.
So what do we do about a computer for the public health nurse?
Where are our COVID ones? Did we get rid of the old ones we had when you got laptops for the,
Mm-hmm.
so you only have,
We have what we have. I have a laptop and he has a laptop.
and that's it, and so you got rid of your other computers?
The IT guy took them. We could probably ask for another one.
We could.
That would be up to you.
I mean, that's something, yeah, that's something,
She said, we can ask
I
for one.
know, it's,
I think we
well,
can kind
we
of
do,
work
I
on
mean,
that,
we,
you know, the next
yeah.
coming weeks, but.
Right,
Yeah, why don't
right.
why don't we work
Eventually,
on.
we will need the person to,
Yeah, why don't we work on getting the posting up,
up
right?
first.
We'll
Yeah.
get that up if we're gonna put, you know, just a little ad in the Whitman Hanson Express.
Definitely the Women Hanson Express, because there are a zillion nurses
Yeah,
And we'll,
in Hanson.
and we'll just keep downstairs kind of informed as to
okay.
what we got going on, I
Remember I
guess.
told you I created that report for Hanson? But it was, it had everybody in it, the ones that were dead, alive, the ones that their license
Yes,
had
yes,
expired.
yes, yes,
and
yes.
I couldn't print it in a format that made sense. It all just ran on.
Should we make a motion to officially post that and move forward on it?
I make a motion that we post the position for a public health nurse
In the Whitman Hanson Express.
in the Whitman Hanson Express or any publication.
Okay. Just as commented
As
on and
is.
modified,
Yep.
how we did it.
Yep.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Yep.
Okay. All right, and then the other part of that was the transfer station per diem position that we had talked about.
Yes.
That was another one that's kind of been kicking around for a while.
My
too,
understanding
so-
is we can't do per diem because it's union. It has to be part-time. When I went down and Deborah
What?
asked, yeah, that it's a union position, it cannot be per diem.
We've had a non-union person up there.
For highway union?
No, because they're not they're not in the union.
The person's not in the union.
We have
Keith wasn't in the union.
Keith wasn't in the union, and then he came into the union.
Yeah.
We've always
Because he
had
was part-time, but we were asking specifically for per diem as needed. We
Yeah.
can't hire per diem. They would have to be part-time. When Keith came on, he was probably part-time with set weeks. He did Saturdays or Sundays every single week.
So-
We're asking for per
so
diem.
it's not the part-time, it's the per diem.
It's the per diem. We can't say, all right, we only want you once a month. Highway union contract, you can't do that. You have to hire them part-time.
But they wouldn't fall under the highway contract. It's a
That's what I was-
non-union position.
That's what I was told.
Understand that, but what were you told?
I was told that it wouldn't fall under union contract.
It wouldn't be an under union contract.
I think I talked to Lisa and she said that it,
I think,
Because Keith was non-union, and he
because he
was,
was part-time. He wasn't per diem. It's the per diem. You have to offer people a part-time position. You can't offer them single days here and there. You can go and ask Lisa, but I had this conversation with
that
her.
doesn't make any sense. So you can have a part-time person that's
Right.
not in the union, but you can't have a
But
per
the-
diem person
But
not in
the
the union.
part-time person works a regular schedule. They
Right,
work
I get
every
that.
week a certain amount of hours.
Yeah,
She's saying that we can't hire somebody that works maybe once a week, maybe once a month. it would have to be part-time.
Well,
It's
so,
not-
what,
Kevin, I mean, as far as they're concerned, I
the
asked Kevin
person,
about.
the guy that fills in every now and again at the transfer station.
Brian.
He's been in forever though. He
Brian.
was part-time and
Right,
he just cut
I know
down.
that, I'm well aware of who's worked
Right.
up there, but he now fills in every now and again, but he cannot continue to do that for personal reasons.
I understand that, but when he did it initially, he was hired as a part-time person. We reduced his hours so that he could just, for our benefit,
Right.
because he didn't want to work all the time. But
Mhm.
when he was hired as a part-time person. And he worked Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
So you can have a part-time person not in the union, but you can't have a per diem person not in the union.
Right.
Okay, so if that's the case, anytime we need somebody, then the highway should be able to supplement or backfill
But are we
on a
paying them?
per diem basis. We'd have to.
And then
Yeah,
we
we
pay
paid
them
it, we paid
more?
the highway.
We'd have to pay them whatever their rate
The highway
is.
doesn't have that many people to be sharing.
Well, they did for a couple of weeks there when both Chris and John was out.
No, I know they had to, but I'm saying, if they only have 3 people, they're not gonna be able to give us a person every Saturday or Sunday when we need a person. I mean, they're short-staffed is what I'm saying. We really can't pull from
I guess
them.
we'll have to
You
review this
can
again.
ask Lisa again, but she told me
I
that we
mean,
could
I
not
don't-
hire them as a per diem. We would have to hire as a
Alright, so-
part-time.
You know what? I'll ask our union rep.
Yes.
I will ask him.
All right, so
Yeah.
why don't we, so we can make some progress on that, or at least figure out what way we can go with it. Why don't we see if we can send them an email, like you said, Teresa, and I don't know, Gil, do you wanna see if maybe you can set up a quick meeting with Lisa? Just to talk
I
about
guess I'll have to
That
find out
position.
what me.
Just
I
on
this-
on
Yeah.
the-
thought, that's the whole reason why I believe the previous, chair said that, per diem,
Yeah, well,
What
I
previous chair?
had,
Melissa, when she discussed
She
this.
might have been asking, I don't know. I don't know what conversation.
Let me reach out to the union
Union.
rep, because he's the union rep for highway as well, and
But ask him.
he would know definitively what the answer is.
Right.
isn't that,
Oh,
Gil
yeah,
had
Kevin,
done
but
that.
they want,
You
nothing to do
spoke
with
to
them.
John Roberts? You spoke
No,
to?
Kevin Dykes.
No, I'm talking somebody
Well,
that
yeah.
actually works for the
For the
union.
union.
Do
The
it, do
union
it. I'm
rep.
just-
this
I'm
is,
beside
Not,
myself here. so-
not somebody that's in the union. Somebody,
Because-
our union rep,
I
because
didn't-
they rep
Ask them.
my union and they also rep,
Clerical and highway.
yes,
yes, please do.
Ask.
Yes,
That's-
Yes.
That's what that's what I wanted to do, I
Yes.
think, a couple weeks ago, a couple meetings ago, that,
We did, I mean,
Yeah, but you're talking to somebody who's in the union, not
But I have to talk,
who's enforcing the rules for the union.
I talked to Shop Stewart, who's gonna mention.
But
it
yeah,
to
but
his
we were
Robert.
told,
I'll reach out to John Roberts.
yeah,
yeah,
and see what he has to say.
Mm-hmm, yes.
thank you. All right, so that handles, I think, the old unfinished business. Were there any septic plans submitted after you posted this agenda?
Yes, but we're not allowed to do that anymore.
No?
No, it would have to have been posted on Thursday.
Okay, so we're just gonna take that off?
There was somebody that was very upset that they couldn't
I
have their.
did, I think I asked you about taking that off. You said you were gonna take that off.
I know, I forgot to take it off.
Okay. I will put a reminder here.
I'll take it off
So
right
as
now.
far as the plan that was submitted last minute, what was it for? For repair for a system, I'm assuming?
Yes,
And,
it's been added to the September 19th.
When did we get the plan?
The final revisions were, he came today.
Oh,
Is
yeah,
this for-
that wouldn't have made it.
what's the situation with the property? Is it kind of like, I mean, it's in failure, they're trying to,
Oh, wait, which one's that?
The
East
shortened
East
process.
Washington Street, I wanna say it's 842 East Washington Street.
That's a sale, isn't it?
I'm not even sure.
I'm not sure.
I'm not even sure. I believe it could be a sale.
But it's up to the engineer to get it in.
Well, it's always been that you can come in with the revised plans and it could go on the agenda. The state said, no, you can't do that anymore
right,
because
they
somebody
did.
filed a complaint.
Yes.
so this was already submitted. I'm assuming they filed for variance.
Yes, there's a
That's why
variance.
it's going in front of us.
Yep.
And it
So
went to
they
review.
submitted, it was advertised, and then they brought in revised plans?
Yes, so they submitted it.
Yep.
I sent it out
Back it
to review.
Yeah.
It came back in. There were several things that needed to be changed. I sent it back out for review.
Yeah.
I got the revised plan, sent it back
Yeah.
out for review.
Yep, sure.
I just got the revised plans from the second review this afternoon.
Okay.
And we have no way of putting that on the agenda with the 48 hours notice that we need, so
No,
we
I-
can't discuss it, so.
No, I get that, but
But-
did they have to notify butters or no?
No,
So
they
they
did
didn't
not.
need to do that, but we
No.
didn't have.
We didn't have the plans, so we couldn't have.
So-
it was
posted it.
842 East Washington Street.
Well, I mean, going forward, just to kind of like remedy a situation like that, when someone submits a plan, why don't we just practice of putting them on the agenda? And if it doesn't get straightened out by then we don't discuss it.
That's a good idea.
You know what I
We
mean?
can do
Like,
that.
if
So that they don't miss a whole month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if they submit and it has to go up for review, we know it's their
So
intention is to get in front of the board. So
So,
let's add them to the
instead
agenda.
of that little section right there, do we
I just
put
deleted
plans
it.
under review? And
Yeah.
put in all the addresses?
Anyone
in
that
advance?
submits, even if it needs to still go for review, let's just plug them in on.
No, but I mean, the
septic
ones
plan.
that when she knows she's getting to Thursday and she has to post, and she's got 4 plans that are out
Yeah,
to
yeah,
the
yeah.
engineer. Put all of them on there in case they come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not
What I'm
like,
saying.
again, it's not like she's doing anything wrong. They're not ready. They shouldn't be on there, but that
No,
they do
I-
come
I
in last
totally
minute.
get it.
because
Pass
everyone
over,
does.
right.
That, like you
Person
said, we
doesn't
can
have to
pass
wait.
over, yep, that hasn't come back from review yet.
Yep.
But in
Is
the
it the
event that it
same?
does,
That regularly goes back for review?
Say again?
Is it the same engineer that regularly goes back for review?
No. Well,
Maybe. Okay, it's just some people that it's constant, so they need to put in an extra 2 weeks because they know the first time it goes in, it's not gonna be, there's gonna be things that need to be fixed.
is there something that's like a major issue with the property owner? Like something we should try to help out, or
no.
it's not holding anything up?
No, I'm sure it is holding something up. Absolutely, I'm sure
Oh,
it's holding
okay.
something up. But
They must be selling it, who else would, unless it completely failed, because who else?
but
would
again, the
just
person that
randomly do
they
their
but again, the
septic?
person that they have chosen to install is not even currently licensed yet. So they did do the application. They have not submitted everything that they need, and
So
they
they're
have
not
not
ready.
made an appointment to take the test.
So she's not.
All
they're
that
not
needs
ready.
to be done before they can install. So
So they don't even have a license installed already, ready
No.
to go anyway?
no, the person just filled out the application sometime since Thursday afternoon. Because when I came in yesterday, I had it.
All right, so it's not like, we're not holding them up. 'cause
No,
it's other
that
tests.
person is not capable of installing in Hanson at this time. They have to make an appointment to
They're
take a
not
test.
committed.
Right, they have to submit a few other things.
When is our next?
September 19th.
The
That's the
19th,
only
so-
meeting that we currently have scheduled.
So that's three weeks from now.
Yep, and the question I have is, do you wanna do every 3 or do you wanna go back to 4?
I think 3 is probably fine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see, 1,
Yeah, I think going forward, if we just do
Three.
that, just to cover
fine.
ourselves, we'll put them on the agenda.
Mm-hmm.
And if, like you said, if it's not ready when we get to the meeting, we had it on there, it's covered, we'll have to pass over it, or we can discuss it, but we can't vote on it, you know,
Yeah, so-
whatever, you know?
I'm gonna ask, oh, I'm in the wrong month, that's nice. Oh, no, October, I was just gonna say in October, I'm gonna ask if we can do the 17th. Because I have to take the day off to
So we have,
come to the meeting,
we have the 19th, and then,
October 17th. We can't do the first week because it's town meeting. Anyway, and then it might be a holiday,
so you want the
following
17th.
week. Or somewhere in that week there's a holiday. Columbus Day, something.
Let me look. I don't know when
Election
that
Day,
No,
is this November 7th?
no, no, this is October.
Columbus Day is October 9th.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at 3 weeks from the 17th.
Oh,
No, any Tuesdays are fine with me, it's fine.
Election Day, what's the
That's
election this
election
year?
day.
Is that town elections?
My calendar says
We
November
could
7th.
go to the
November
14th of November.
7th. Yeah, you can't have it on an election day.
Yeah.
I know
Because
we
if
can't.
it's on Tuesday, the polls will be open till 8.
Right,
So
right.
you
So-
can't have a
So
meeting.
November, we should just plan on the 14th.
Yeah, but you can't do it Halloween, the 31st.
Well, we could. But that's
No.
gonna be a big stretch in
No,
between.
no.
So November 14th?
Yeah.
So we're gonna go the 17th and then 11th,
And then
14th. So you wanna just set all these now?
Yep, that's what I'm doing
I know
now.
we had discussed them before, but if we have, we can just modify. And we'll just come up with a new list right now, I
At
guess.
least that way I know to block my schedule.
Okay.
And then what, December 12th?
Works for me, there's nothing else, yeah, I can do the 12th, I have nothing on there
That's
yet.
4 weeks, but
That works.
December 12th.
That way I can go ahead and do my schedule and not worry about conflicts.
All right, so September 19th, October 17th, November 14th, and October 12th, and December 12th, sorry.
December 12th, yeah.
Do you wanna do November 28th and then the 19th of December?
Wait a minute.
I'm just
19th
thinking,
is getting
November
close to the
28th.
holiday.
That's right after Thanksgiving, so I'm
gonna be
gonna be
ugly.
off the 22nd, 23rd, 24th, so there's not really a lot of time to
She's
get
not gonna be able
meeting
to
stuff
post everything and get it
or to
together.
do invoices or any of that
no,
stuff.
the only reason I was looking at that is because if we do December 12th, it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, we're gonna be 4 weeks, because we're probably not gonna do the second after New Year's.
Well, and nobody, but
Nobody's doing septics that time of year.
Yeah.
well, I mean, there's not a
Unless
lot
it's an
going on
emergency.
on that time
Yeah.
time of year.
Alright, so we're gonna go.
So
from
if you're
the
gonna do
12th.
that, that would be the time of year to do it.
So we're gonna go the 12th of December, and then we're into probably the 9th of
Yep.
January for
I
the
can
following year.
put
Alright.
that down as a whole.
Alright, so you wanna just do the next 4, I guess, so we'll have
Yes.
September 19th,
Yep,
October 17th.
So I'll take January 9th off.
on January
You wanna
9th, he
put it
says.
down? Yeah.
You want
that's-
that?
That's fine with me,
Yeah,
I
'cause
mean,
we definitely didn't wanna do it
January
the
9th.
first week.
Okay,
yeah.
and then
So-
leave it at that.
So we'll do September 19th,
Yep.
23, October 17th, 23,
Yep.
November 14th, 23,
Yep.
December 12th, 23,
Yes.
and then we'll do
January 9th.
January 9th
9th
of
of
24.
Yeah.
Ooh. How did that happen?
So those are our next 5 meetings.
Yep, so we should be good.
Okay. All right, not really a chairman's update, I mean, I'm just acting chairman, so I don't. I don't really have an
Kawani,
update,
with
but-
no more issues with Kawani, right?
No, not as of right now, no. Nope. They don't have a lot going on up there right now, so.
I will ask you after the meeting to explain again the process for who needs to be permitted and who does not need to be permitted in what circumstances for food permits.
Okay.
Because it doesn't have to take up part of this meeting. It's
Thank
just
you.
I want a clarification.
Considering it's
He doesn't really want to know about
Six-
permitting.
It's 20 to 7.
Oh, boy.
Holy mackerel.
So we got Asian report, Gil, you wanna, anything else you wanna touch on? So
Well-
I know we
Oh, we had a couple things
we
we had.
covered some of the stuff
Yeah.
that you would've talked about, but.
With,
Just have to
well, I
sign.
have an issue at the transfer station with trees. Trees are overgrowing everything. A lot of sumac is grown, in between the buildings and whatnot. We had first started talking, Todd DEP about, things happening at the transfer station as far as swap shop and stuff. I'd asked him about, the trees that are growing in between the containers and everything and around the building, engulfing the building, and also around the kiosk. And he had said that, as long as it pertains to, the actual structures and everything, that it could be taken care of under RDP funds. And trying to get prices from a local tree company as far as doing it. And when I had talked to Todd about it, it falls under equipment like cement pads, ramps, other infrastructure, and related site work for recycling equipment. It would fall under that particular category. The trees are getting worse. Chris tried to take a couple out and wanted highway to pick it up. Highway's so busy right now because of the issues they have with Route 27, working Route 27. So reaching out to a couple of people, gives prices on doing that. And circle back to Todd again as far as being able to use IDP funds to do that. So that's probably one of the biggest things happening right now. But the sumac, because of all the rain and moisture, they're just growing like crazy. It's almost blocking the kiosk there as far as the solar panel there. So, but That's probably the main thing happening right now. I got a few other things, but if you want to bypass now, we've got, spoken to DEP wastewater. Want to put Stonebridge condominium wastewater treatment facility on notice that they have to correct the situation that's been going on for like 3 years since COVID has ended. They have not had the facility up to operating properly, and it's a groundwater discharge. DEP has total control over it, but we get the reports from the actual operator that go to DEP, and it's time that they fix that treatment plant to make sure it's operating properly. Also, I spoke to DEP, the Hanson Middle School. Hanson Middle School was same thing. It's got a BioClear unit, it's not operating properly, it's been operating for a few years, and I'm going to put them on notice with DEP. They've finally got the funding last year's town meeting to repair it, so they'll be put on notice with DEP also, as far as that goes. And those are basically the highlights of everything. That's going to be till the next meeting. I think those are the biggest things all. Transfer cutting. Something that I don't know, it doesn't fall under us actually. A lot of the independent, curbside pickup people, they're leaving more and more product on the ground. Some towns are putting stickers on some of the stuff, couches and everything. As you drive around, there's couches and mattresses and things just laying
But
out
everybody
there.
knows that their haulers don't take that stuff.
So, I mean, I don't know if you noticed.
Is that new or is that?
Since COVID. Prior to COVID they did,
Yeah.
but during COVID they stopped.
We could put out the information about the company that comes to Hanson and will pick up their mattresses.
I have.
Yeah, that's been on the
Okay.
thing, so.
Is it on cable as a loop?
I have never submitted anything to cable.
It's a good resource.
I think we have, the South
And they-
Recycling puts it on, I put the,
Yeah, because I think I used it. I want to say it's Hands Up.
I put it, yeah. I
Green
put it
mattress.
on the Facebook page, and I've
Yeah.
also put it on the town website.
I'll
And
have to go
I
look.
think I put it on Twitter as well.
I'll have to go look because I use them.
Or, sorry,
It's
X.
so much easier. I don't have a truck. I call them up. They have a time that they come through Hanson, they pick it up.
Well, you have to,
Okay.
there's a charge for it.
Well, you pay them online. You pay them.
Yeah,
and they
right,
pick it up.
right.
But I was on Facebook this morning, and people are complaining about 2 spots or more where people are dumping stuff all the time. And of course, the recommendation was that the town put in a trail camera. If you live in the neighborhood, put in your own trail camera to see who's doing it and get their plate number.
that one area, I believe it's the discovered, it's the residents in that subdivision, that's their area, it's stuff they want to give away, so that's,
This stuff, if you saw the pictures of it, was not giveaway stuff.
if the one on Brook Street, it's the neighborhood on
Right,
Brook
and
Street.
people
That's their
in
area.
that neighborhood are
Right.
complaining about it, so.
I mean, other
They
towns.
clearly
are starting-
don't know.
Other towns are starting to put stickers on it, but I don't think that's gonna help anything.
Yeah, and somebody complained about Hawks Ave, I don't even know what the situation is there, people dumping stuff.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to pay to get rid of it.
There is a lot more dumping happening because of, the independent haul that, picking up.
Well,
But there are resources.
Well, they stopped.
So,
They don't offer that service
Right,
anymore.
yeah, right.
It's not that they're not picking it up, they don't offer that service
And that
anymore.
might be part of the issue, like you guys are saying, that people don't know what to do with it.
Right,
They
They
so
don't.
getting that out, that will be helpful, yeah.
yep.
well, I'll conclude this meeting.
When she was talking about throwing the food in the trash, it's like, okay, now we have to talk about the food
Well,
disposal. But I'm not gonna start that conversation now.
That's another issue.
I know.
We'll
I bit
discuss
my
later.
tongue.
There's other issues there that,
I don't know where we are with the company. There is a company, if they had 100 people sign up, they were gonna offer that service, the composting service, pickup here in Hanson. I just don't know where they are.
didn't they,
Blackbird.
I thought,
What
I was at some meeting, they were too expensive or
Just folder,
something.
just the signature stuff?
Not for home pickup, it was like $9 a
Yes.
week or something. It
No,
wasn't,
it was more than that at the meeting. I
no,
was at,
no,
something.
no, the one that I looked at, I wanna say
You don't want all
it
the
was
meeting
like,
material?
No, just the signed stuff,
Alright.
please.
That's why it says signature needed on the folder.
no, Black Earth was not that expensive to do curbside. If you had them do it individually, and you were one of maybe 2 or 3 people in that town, there's higher cost, but, no, I just found these over here. No, so they are supposedly, and I can find out what's going on with them, if they're still gonna offer it. It was not expensive, because they would be doing the whole town. They would get at least 100 families, so it makes it cost effective for them. But that's the next big.
Alright. So is that it? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn, I guess.
I will make a motion to adjourn.
Alright, I second that. Meeting is adjourned at
6:44.
6:44.
6:44.